muted. This is so professional tonight. Fuck it, let's go. Hello! No, I got the wrong screen again. Hello! There we are. I give up. I quit. I'm gone. Let's just go. It's nice seeing you all today. We managed to do at least 10 shows as the Asylum.
I said my hair. What have you done to my hair?
It was set up. It was set up perfectly on the other scene.
I'm not continuing with this podcast until you fix my hair.
Just give me a moment. I was going to kick it off. And then I was going to fix you.
That you see in the streets that you feel sorry for, and then you would have kind of like asked for money. That's what you look like.
Just
heads been caved
don't
in.
look, shh, don't draw attention to it. No one will notice. I'll fix it in a moment.
I noticed.
Just no one in chat has seen it. Let's continue. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Asylum podcast. We are having a few technical issues tonight. I do apologise. Hopefully normal service will be resumed very shortly.
I doubt
joining us tonight. Oh god, now the alerts are making noises. Fuck you. Goddamn Streamlabs. Streamlabs just sucks at the moment.
Something's already clicked behind the scenes.
It's
nothing to see here. Move along.
Jen, I hate you.
Good evening. Well, I said that bit. So, yes.
Would have been funnier if it was the only thing that was actually green screen with his head. That would have been even more funny.
Just his hair on screen.
Just his hair.
Let's just pause the alerts for the moment. Right. Okay. Well, I can't adjust your hair when you're not sitting there. I don't even know what's going on now. This is just crazy. Right. Good evening, everyone. Today we are joined by Little Bit of Madness, Mr. Super Mac Brothers Ryan, the vanishing hairless wonder that is Moist Noodle, and we do have a fifth guest whose connection and webcam has completely gone out at the moment, but I think she's still here on voice. Ilaria, say hello.
Hello.
Yes, something worked at least.
Sorry.
So
They do exist. We took a while to hunt them down, but a girl that actually plays and is interested in Star Citizen.
There are more of us, you know. We're not that rare.
Well, I don't know, because CIG don't think so. I mean, there is no female model, so. Oh, don't do that. I can't. Moist was going to sort it, but I can't do that when you're wearing the hat. It doesn't work.
No, he's done. Look at him.
Oh,
He looks like an American tourist.
To be fair, you look worse with the hat on. Just saying.
Well, fix my head then.
Okay, give me 2 seconds.
You've ruined my hair now.
Fix my head.
God. Such a...
Yeah, it's back. Don't know what you want
ruined
about. So, I don't know. Like, Madness, how are you? How's your week been? Start talking and just take the pressure off.
Start talking quickly. Start talking. Good. It's been a busy week. We're doing cycling. I think a few people jumped in my stream today when I cycled through London. You guilted me into this because I said that I was going to do it on Monday. Today, even I was going to do a cycle today, but I kind of woke up late and then my legs were really heavy and I was feeling a bit sore and a bit tired. And I was like, oh, I'm just kind of excuses as it is. And then you were like, oh, I've done my cycle, right? Because you were going to do it. And I was like, oh, shit, I better do it then. So literally just jumped in, squeezed my fat body into Lycra again. And
well done.
You're not like
that's an achievement.
Middle-aged, what do they call it? Middle-aged men in Lycra. What would they call it?
Yeah, something like that.
it's kind of like that.
Mammals.
Yeah. I haven't gone full Lycra, as in like external visible Lycra. It's still hidden.
It's all underneath.
I have a sense of some sort of sense of kind of, how I look. So I still hide it underneath the clothing still, but it's there to try and because when you're leaning over, the belly is kind of a bit bigger than it's ever been before, and it's like you kind of like. Oh my God,
I put some of my old cycling tops on, and
the range is reduced.
Yeah, it's not good.
So. It was good. It was a good cycle, and I've got a target this year of 10 kilos that I want to lose, which is when I was a lot fitter than I am.
Empty your pockets.
Yeah, I could just spend it on Star Citizen. Really,
it's
10K.
quicker.
That would be the fastest way to do it. So
you're cycling around London.
So yeah, I'll be cycling through London on live stream and streaming it as well, so you can watch and come.
It's like death waiting to happen, basically.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
everyone
waiting
is.
to see.
That's what
Black
everyone
cab.
tunes in for. Everyone is just tuning in for me to like twat it against somebody and stuff. But
Oh, fucking
so
right.
far, I mean, I cycled London for over a year and a bit now, so I reasonably. But when I go into like today, I went a different route, so I get nervous when I go different routes because I don't know the roads as well. When I know my route, I know everything like lights and people and systems. But so I've done that. That was really good today. I enjoyed that. I just need to set up the if anyone knows how to set up talk and speak for a mobile phone, because at the moment
Text
I've got this thing
to
called
speech.
text to speech. Sorry, text to speech. Sorry, text to speech.
Talk to speech.
Because at the moment I set it up through this thing and it worked well if I'm on the desktop, but the minute I can't get it to work on the mobile, so I can't hear, because I want to be able to cycle and then hear when people are talking to me at least, and then I can then at least talk back to them. Ah, there we are.
Yay! We can't hear you though.
There's two
Oh, no.
hilarious.
Hilaria.
Oh dear.
It's all going wrong.
No,
go back
it's
to-
fine. It's fine. No, it's not. Why won't it let me remove the other person?
You broke in again, Larry.
Oh.
Hang on.
So yeah, it's been good. It's been good. Working's good. I mean, the only thing for me is like I will talk about it as we go through the show, but like I have some bags of salt, heavy bags of salt to deliver this evening. So
That's why we brought Mac on, because we all know he's like the pink fluffy unicorn of
The repellent.
Star Citizen, so he brings the bags of sugar.
Salt repellent.
no, and there's some good things. There's been some good things in the world of Star Citizen this week, but there has been some. I have some big concerns and questions, and I want to see what everyone thinks. So,
Do you think you have about 30 kilos of salt?
Probably.
I think I've probably a truck at the moment. To be fair, of salt.
Excellent.
So that's me. Yeah, it's just been good. I mean,
That's your
I'm trying to think if there's any. I watched you guys on Captain's Table, Moist and Miz.
Wait, that was on Captain's Table.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed that. That was fun.
It was good fun.
Right at the beginning.
The problem is, it was like
Before it even started, you were in chat being salty. What's wrong with you? God.
It's one of those weeks. I think it's one of those weeks.
Tell me about it.
Yeah,
What's that? Sorry. Oh, lost you again.
Hosting. Oh, I'm not hosting. Oh, I'm not. Am I not hosting?
You've got Madness's mic curse, Hilaria. It's one person has it, guaranteed. Oh, have you got like I wonder if it's to do with your what's they call that range of
Oh, we've lost her. Never mind.
The noise gate.
she's back.
Is that
speech?
better?
Yes.
I think it's a noise gate, so it's not picking up straight away.
It could be noise gate. Yeah. So if it's a shout.
It's too much effort.
You got to make you got to be make a noise first, like beep, and then say your sentence, and it'll pick you up, and then it'll be fine.
Yeah, I think it's just as soon as you start talking, it's not hearing it. But
We'll be
keep
fine.
going on long sentences only, please.
Long sentences only.
Yeah.
Or should I just slow right down?
You could do.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah,
I'll believe
yeah, either or would work.
Yeah.
Right, so we'll carry on a little bit. Mac, what have you been up to? Nothing? Okay.
He's actually made some YouTube videos.
I have, yes.
No.
I have been trying to keep up with YouTube. It's actually getting really hard now because obviously there's been a lot of releases and lots of things to talk about. And I tried to record the walked around of the Reclaimer today, but it seems the J patch, they've not allowed you to select it in Arena Commander.
Oh,
really?
really? So the way everybody was spawning it so they could do it without problems and ruin in the server, they just got rid of it.
So it's
Good idea.
there. You can click it, but you just can't click
Enter.
select ship. Yeah. It doesn't happen. So I was like, right, well, that idea's gone out the window. But yeah, I'm going to try and catch up this next week with all the ship reviews and looking at the patch as a whole thing. But at the moment, it's a bit unplayable, which is a shame. But
Sorry,
other than that,
a bit.
it's just slightly unplayable.
I was actually able to get into the PTU PU today. And I was actually able to spawn a Reclaimer, and I was able to fly all the way to Daymar and land. Yes, the Reclaimer was doing handstands on Daymar. That's besides the point. But I played for a good like 30 minutes before I eventually fell asleep.
Did you notice when you got to Daymar that the frame rate bombed?
No, it was fine for me.
Oh.
I had a steady 35 frames per second pretty much all the way through.
Honest that, it was perfect. But then as soon as I got to any planet after that or moon...
Yesterday, yesterday I had that. In fact, I would crash pretty much every time I tried to get to a planet. But today, it's absolutely fine.
Okay, that's good then. So they must have cleaned whatever that problem was up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, streaming next tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday should be fine. And just keeping up with the videos. Other than that, I don't really know what more.
Okay, that's good. Well done. Next, Moist. Tell us what you've been up to.
I've been streaming. I've actually been streaming. Been doing some VR stuff with Maya, which has been absolutely awesome.
This is buggered up or not. I'll get the clip for you.
Sorry, Miz.
No, I said I'll see. I'm going to do the next. I'm going to show the clip for you. I'll say let's see if it's buggered up or not.
Can you look like an extra from Ghostbusters at the moment?
Look, shut up. All right, it's not my fault. He's got blue hair. It's really not my fault.
He's glowing. He's got a radiant glow. Honestly, I'm feeling in tune, and then I want to throw a trap underneath him and suck him into a trap.
It's not my fault. Man. He's got blue hair. Where did you put this video of?
It's at the bottom of the purple section.
I don't know. Okay, go on. Keep talking.
But yeah, played a couple of games with Maya and Astro yesterday. The Astropub. No, the purple section at the top. It's at the bottom of that section.
Astropub, the Astropub.
The Astropub. We played Star Trek Bridge Crew, which was a lot of fun. We had to pull up one extra random person, and that person was using like an Android soundboard to communicate with us, which was hilarious.
Wow.
But we did a couple of missions on there, a lot of fun, and then we moved over to From Other Suns, which is phenomenal. And Miz has a clip from that. Maybe.
Okay. Are you ready?
A great moment. Yes.
I apologise for anybody wearing earphones.
Oh my sweet Jesus! Oh my God! Oh shit! Oh no! Oh hell no!
Yeah. So that was them playing. They both wet themselves basically.
So just to explain this moment, that was our ship, and we ended up at a distress call, and the woman said, "Oh, there's aliens on my ship." So we're like, right to the transporter room. Literally left the bridge, and that fucker was sat there waiting for us. It was actually terrifying. But you know,
that's what we want for Star Citizen, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So
we want to get that alarm system going. Alien foreign body on board.
Absolutely.
And it's not a French person. That's literally what you want. That's what
wow.
Scary,
wow.
They are foreign bodies.
But other than that, just work really. Work has been awesome this week. Loving every moment of it. End of the financial year. So yeah, that's me.
You get like a big budget now that you can go splashing out on stuff.
No, I wish. But I did sell a kitchen, so that kitchen's not for sale anymore.
Sold it.
No,
Yep.
but we were just about to shift that for you. Okay, and lastly we have Alaria. So you're not a streamer, but we have you here because we are promoting Britizencon and no madness. That's not why we have. Hey, Richard, just take it away.
What did you say?
He said because you're a girl. It's like he's never seen one before. Okay, just let him have his moment.
Okay, that makes more sense now.
Explains a lot.
This is made. Yeah, hi. Our org is going to Britizencon, and that's why I'm here. I drew the short straw. So they decided to put me on here. Stupidest idea ever.
Thanks.
Me here, not you guys. You're all right. It's me.
What have you got planned for the Britizencon?
So,
what's the org first?
Our org is called the Republic of Laurel. We are an RP community, so we focus a lot on content creation. We build our own lore within the org itself. So we have a history, we have rules, we have a charter and a constitution that our players will follow. But we're not set on a single thing. We don't just do military. We don't just do salvage. We don't just do trading. All of our members have a choice of what they want to do, and they can either join a company that's already within the Republic, or they can start their own. Over time, they have the opportunity to join in with the Council of Laurel, which is essentially our little government, of which I am the Secretary of the Treasury, because someone thought that was a good idea as well.
Fancy.
I'm shit with money, so
Me too.
I'm always amazed with people like when they have like actual titles for things within like roleplay. I think it's fun. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, I'm Master and CEO and Lord of my org. That's my
Lord of my org of one.
Your name is quite long. Wing Commander.
Wing Commander Mac
Zero.
Ryan,
Just
Lord,
call me Lord.
CEO, Master, and everything in between. Excellent. So yeah, we've like you said, we're sort of Ryan, Mac, and myself are hosting the stream for Britizencon.
Mac and myself.
Mac and myself.
Really?
That was right. What's wrong with that?
Who's Laurel? What is Laurel?
What is Laurel?
Well,
What type of game? What you said you did ARP roleplay. What other type of what roleplay are you doing? Are you just doing standard roleplay, kind of like in the game, or are you guys pirates, mercenaries? Did you say? I didn't quite catch it.
Text-based RP primarily. Once we get in-game good and proper, it will be standard over voice RP. We're hoping.
You're going to
I want to like so bad in the game.
Is that what roleplay is going to come down to? Is basically people go up to each other going, yeah.
Get to the reactor before it explodes.
Interesting.
So,
no.
have you? Did you go to any of the other events like Citizencon or anything like that?
Only came into Star Citizen last February.
Okay.
So new to it, and the reason I got in was because my husband showed me a picture of the Endeavour.
That would work.
Mine.
Yeah, that works.
Mine. I decided immediately that I was going to play the game. So,
see, I tried showing a picture of my Endeavour to my girlfriend, but didn't quite have the same reaction, to be honest.
She saw the price tag underneath and gave you a slap. You spent how much on pixels?
I don't know.
I just haven't told my partner the cost.
How big is your org? How many people do you have? Like, how many people do you have?
Check the exact number because off the top of my head I can't remember. We're looking at somewhere in the region of about between 70 and 80 people at the moment.
It's about 83, I think.
Are you wanting to just keep growing, or are you going to stay at?
That was the intention. Too much about what I want to do because I'm not technically leadership. I've got no real say over that. But
just treasure.
Just control the finances.
Finances, and I
Take the money and run.
I make pretty enough.
To be fair, if you're going to have a position within the org, the treasurer's got to be one of the best because anytime there's a new ship, it's like, yeah, how did you get that new ship? I don't know. It's just my personal savings.
Well, requisition. It's necessary for my role. That
Exactly.
890 jump.
Status. You've got to have a status proper, otherwise you're representing.
We've got a space, I think, for the show for the evening for a giveaway. So feel free to volunteer one of your spaceships for the time to be on the show. Absolutely fine, not a problem. An Aurora or a Cyclone, Reclaimer even is totally fine. We'll take
Endeavour.
anything, really. Endeavour.
My Endeavour, mate, over my dead body.
You ain't touching no Endeavour.
Get
I'm
off.
having that. That's mine.
That's yeah, no, fair play.
I might give up my Aurora as I can't currently play the game, so
Oh no.
good at the minute. But
My
never
package
mind.
is no good at the
That's
minute
enough
either.
salt for tonight. I think we should just hold the salt completely for tonight.
So I was going to go back
Are
onto
we talking about packages at the moment?
the FOIP thing.
Continue.
Have you actually seen the face over IP animations and things? Have you seen much of that?
Yeah.
Some of it.
Okay. That's fair enough. You can say no; it's allowed.
I've been watching some of them. It's kind of weird.
At the moment, it's a little bit. Yeah.
It's not quite there. It's not to the point of the uncanny valley, but it's not quite right either. It's
it's more kind of weird face kind of.
Right.
It's kind
a
of
bit weird.
it's like watching a robot with that silicon skin or something. It doesn't look quite.
Oh, it's like the T600. Is what you're saying?
Pretty much. But,
shiny kind of. He's not T800 level yet.
I think if they can do as good a job with that as they did with Andy Serkis and the Vandal animations, that was pretty impressive with the Squadron 42 stuff.
Yeah.
That's
I'd be nice to get that close to it, but I don't think we're going to get.
That's Tier 0. I think it'll always be a little bit like like most games we play, where it's kind of a little bit of kind of like cartoon style. When you get like a Japanese cartoon.
You mean Mass Effect Andromeda?
Well, no, not like weird. Not Dead Eyes. I'm kind of like, but I mean, the mouth won't probably be exactly, it'll be good, but it won't be quite right. Come on. And I don't want it to be. I just want to get it done so we can get on with it.
Just get done.
That's the attitude starter.
Forget fidelity anymore. Now we're just get it done, bag it up, get it out.
Done that, it would have been another. What do you call it?
We'd have a game. We'd be playing Star Citizen 1.
No Man's Sky.
So while we're plugging Britizencon for a little bit, so this is going to be the first part of the show. We're just going to talk a bit about Britizencon, about your stand that you're going to have there in a minute. We'll talk about that. But if anyone in chat isn't going there, please ! Brit to get links in chat. If you're not going, get your tickets. Make sure you go. If you're in the UK, you have no excuse not to go. Madness. Because it's a fan-run event by the fans, for the fans. It's all funded by ticket sales and things like that, basically. So, and I've got the t-shirt if you're going to go. So yeah, ! Brit in chat to get the links to that. It's on the 21st of April, and there's a Bar Citizen on the 20th of April that apparently Mac and I are hosting, which means we're just going to turn up and drink. And then there's one after the event as well, which has now been confirmed as the Tatton Arms, which is the one we usually go to, but now they actually know we're coming, which is a nice change. And they said they're going to put on food, because I think last year there was like 50, well, there's about 100 odd pizza boxes outside last year, and I think they come out and they had to clear the mess up and think, we didn't make a single penny out of all these pizzas. So we've warned them in advance, and they are going to be putting on food and stuff and keeping the chef and everything behind, so that should be great.
They did miss a trick last year, not putting food on, to be fair.
The last 2 years. So this is the third year now that Britizencon is being run. So it's going well, but we do always need support. If you can't make it, but you want to help support Britizencon, there is a donation button on their page as well. So please feel free to chuck money at them instead.
Hotmail.co.uk is the
Don't listen to Mac. It's all on the Britizencon website. You can find the links there. So that's my little plug. Done for that. Personally, I've been both times so far. I'm going next one. Mac, you've been both times. I meant all times because I'm going this one as well. Look, right, my brain is still on trying to get the stream sorted at the moment.
You're getting
there. Mac, you've been to both of them as well, haven't you, so far?
Yeah, we went together. Miserable. We
didn't. The first, we did actually. The first time as well. Forget it. Yeah. I quit. Right. Moist, is this your first time?
And great romance and friendship was born from that first ever trip.
It was. And I think Moist, it's your first time.
And you're taking me.
I am as well. Yes. Alaria, have you been before? We're gonna not include Madness in this because he's let us down basically.
No,
he's
I
just
haven't
too
been
scared.
before.
Oh, you haven't been before? Okay, well.
I'm so gutted.
The first time you're going to have a stall.
But
that's your introduction to it is actually presented.
That's pretty cool.
It is. It's very daring.
So why don't you tell us about this stall that you're going to have? Just literally a stall, 3-legged, 4-legged.
It's going to be 6 foot wide and 6 foot deep.
Oh.
It's
brave.
I haven't told you how deep it is yet.
It's gonna be full of ESP. That's where it's gone.
Oh God, let her talk.
Basically, I got given the free rein to advertise the org in whatever way I saw fit. I saw Britizencon pop up, and I thought, well, I'm in Britain. I'm just going to do this. I don't care. I'm just going to do this because I can. And I got a table. So that was. I didn't think that we would get a table because I just assumed that of fighting for space, but apparently not. Apparently, we were one of the first people in there, so we got.
Got
what
it
you
nice
put on the table? Hold on, start that again. Your mic's cutting out again.
Yeah, she's.
His bloody Wi-Fi, probably.
It's the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
What are you putting on the table?
We are going to be bringing some advertising bits and pieces. We've got people that have created some lovely posters for us. We're also going to be doing a reveal on the day because we've just redesigned our org logo. We had to do it because copyright law is a bit of a bitch.
Yeah. Do you mean like for T-shirts and things like that?
We couldn't put our logo on T-shirts because it would mean money would have to exchange hands between our members ourselves, and that counts as commercial business.
Whose logo was you using, or like parts of, or?
I purchased Vector, so we bought it, but we didn't get the full license. And we didn't know this until
IP license.
Said, okay, can we do this? And they said, oh, here's the license agreement. And I went, no, we can't do this. So we've had it redesigned. So we're going to do a big reveal. To be bringing a few other bits and pieces as well. I have been designing an outfit, which is... for the Lady Laurel. She's essentially like Miss World, but for Laurel, and she looks pretty fancy. She basically acts like a figurehead for Laurel. So we're going to be bringing that along.
Is there a cosplay thing happening? sorry, Madness.
Don't worry, ignore his.
No, but it's just, because there's a stereotypical kind of the gamer girl. Do you know what I mean? There's the typical kind of
there's also a stereotypical gamer guy.
Yeah.
What do you mean, madness?
which he is.
Is there boobs?
I just
Tell me,
is she going to be more like, what the Star Citizen kind of like female character that I've seen feels more like a kind of a, a normal person rather than like a kind of a trumped up sex object.
Sex object.
Have to be Miss Verse.
She's not going to have her tits out, if that's what you're asking. So.
That's fine. I just want to make it clear for everybody. That's what I was just.
For everybody, yeah. Don't lump with it.
Everyone, keep your hopes up. She's going to be coming along. We hopefully, if it's coming from America, so if it arrives, one of our younger members has been 3D printing a trophy to go alongside our in-org, sort of like a racing cup that we have. We do lots of different events. It's called the Tavic Cup, named after one of our founders. Yes, and basically it just goes on through the year, and this was presented to the winner. We're actually having it created, will arrive from America in one piece. But we've got different bits of artwork and some little trinkety bits that we're going to bring along as well that people can, check out buy, everything that people pay for these bits goes back into the org fund, which helps to support members of our org who maybe don't have a lot of money to spend on things. So basically our org will pay out a little bit of money to help people get game packs and ships for things that they're intending to do in the verse. So if they can't afford to buy a game pack, and then they'll pay us back over time, either by paying the money back or by doing something else to help support the org. That's how I got my game pack.
So you guys are kind of like loan sharks within Star Citizen.
It's all part of a big laundry fund.
Yeah, it's actually got an endeavour.
Money laundering in the business, yeah. But it's just basically a way to help support people that would like to play the game but who can't because of reasons. So everything that we sell there is going to go back into that pot. And we're bringing donuts. So
I'm there. I'll be floating around glowing.
You should have opened with donuts, and then everything would have been golden by then.
We're having Krispy Kreme donuts delivered for everybody that doesn't get breakfast in the morning. So save a space.
Fantastic.
And if you touch the raspberry glazed, you're all in trouble. So
stay away from the raspberry glaze.
I'm willing to fight.
Is there actually many other org members coming, or are you the only one for Laurel?
For L'Oreal.
L'Oreal, because you're worth it.
Sorry.
Chat's fault.
No, there will be 5 of us in total.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which is it.
We're all from the same in-game company as well. It's a group called Wintermain, which is actually a guild that I've been part of for quite some time. They all came into Star Citizen together and have stuck together to be a salvage company within Laurel. So it's going to be 5 members of that. We're all going to be there. We're all going to have cute matching t-shirts so you can see us. So no, it's us. We'll be quite blatant.
Is that with the new trademarked logo or the dodgy one?
Copyright free logo, yes. Usable.
We've had the same issues with like using Star Citizen stuff. It's alright if you make your own and just wear it yourself, but if you try to give it or sell it, it's like, no, that's Star Citizen's logo.
I got told to take a t-shirt down because it was me punching a Vandal, and the Vandal was actually one of the assets they used. And Disco was like, no. But
it was just a silhouette. It could have been anything. You should have said it was the Predator, and then
it was the Predator that I adjusted. Bastards.
Fantastic. Well, you got a great webpage, I have to say. I mean,
the webpage looks really nice.
Many people don't have that type of thing. I think I can tell it's legitimately well put together. I mean, webpage says a lot because that means investment. I think Redacted took about an hour, and took years to do their webpage. So I think
I'm not going to tell you how long it took to do that website because I did it.
Probably a while, I'd imagine, or was it quick?
Fairly quick, actually.
It looks very good.
See, the thing is, I can't code for shit. Lost and confused, so I use drag and drop platforms, and so it just goes together really quickly.
It does what it says on the tin, though. Republic of Laurel, a Star Citizen community. It tells you right there without having to click anything else. Unlike Star Citizen.
I don't know if I was about to say I don't know if the guys at Spectrum have got any job opportunities, but if you fancy a new career change, I think they might.
I think you have to be able to code, and I just can't.
Well, tell that to them.
Wow. Salt.
I'm not saying anything.
Literally, we need salt cannons. That's what we need. Salt cannons. That's what we need.
You grit my roads with that.
New emote going on right now. Salt cannon is on the list.
So yeah, the website looks really good.
Salt cannon.
So are you going to the Bar Citizens the day before and after as well, or just for the event?
Day before, because we'll be driving up. We've got to go and collect one of our guys from down near London, and then we're going to drive up to Manchester that night. So
you'll need a pint afterwards, to be fair. It'll be going on quite a while.
I'm the designated driver, so kind of can't, which is a shame.
Just don't get caught.
Go easy on the Friday night.
Don't drink and fly.
Because most people on the Friday night get absolutely shit-faced. I remember a certain board gamer last time got absolutely shit-faced.
And disappeared.
Seem like the type. No, we probably won't be out on a Friday, but we will definitely be out on the Saturday, and we'll be hanging around on Sunday for a bit as well. I think one of our guys wants to go to one of the Japanese noodle bars, so if anybody wants to come and join us, feel free.
Is it a moist noodle bar?
That depends on what noodles you want.
Just ones with blue hair.
A moist one.
But is this person coming over from that wants to have the Japanese news? Is he from Britain or is he coming from another part of the world?
He's British.
He's British. Okay, fair enough. I was going to say, 'cause he's coming from another country. That makes no sense. Why would you come to Britain for Japanese noodles? But
He's a Japanese guy.
No, he is. He's coming from down near where I grew up, actually, near London. Coming from abroad. One from Sweden and one from Portugal.
Oh, nice.
So they've decided to fly over and see what it's all about, and
They won't be disappointed.
so it's going to be cool.
Yeah, it will be.
Hope so.
Definitely.
Anyway.
I'm not going, unfortunately.
You're not going. Oh.
You could watch the stream, Madness.
Last year I was there. I did some good stuff last year. Something happened that was pretty sweet actually when I was last there.
Don't remember. Do you remember, Mac?
Unfortunately,
Oh no, you were
Tripped
asleep.
over a bag, didn't you, or something?
I did. I tripped over a couple of chairs, won a competition, but you know,
Got a trophy taken away from you. That's true.
Yeah. Oh wow! I won this trophy. Yeah, we'll need that back. What?
I can't believe it. It's coming to an end. I can no longer. I'm gonna have to stream. I think a couple more weeks. I think hardcore with the champ, 2017, and then the champ will. Yeah. Next year. Cool. Fantastic.
Yeah, so for those that haven't been, there's quite a lot going on at Britizencon. Obviously, your stall will be there. We have the devs will be turning up. There'll be, I don't know actually if they confirmed how many panels. There's normally at least 2. I don't think they've actually confirmed that. There is a raffle going on, and we've been told that there is a new prize going into the raffle as well. From Foundry 42, they're donating an approximately 6 foot by 4 foot. That's huge. Canvas print. It's a unique canvas print of early concept art, and it's going to be signed by a load of the devs as well. So that will be that's going to be one of the main prizes for the raffle. So I mean, I've already won that anyway, so it's got my name on it. It's in the back of my cart. It's fine.
There will be some other things. Hopefully, I'm going to be sending up to Miz in the next week. I think some goodies as well for the Asylum to take up for people to have, and hopefully we might be able to see if we can get something signed by the devs as well. Considering Erin's there and stuff, might see if we can get something to raffle away on the stream. That would be quite good later on. So yeah.
So those that don't know, Erin and Brian Chambers are also going to be there, as well as it's in Manchester. Basically, it's held there because it's where the Foundry 42 office is. So they can all just pop on, by and visit. So we nearly get quite a few devs turning up on the day in the end, and they do come to the Bar Citizens before. Like last Friday, there was a good load of devs there, and then most of them I think came to the one afterwards as well. So. It's a very good chance to get to meet some devs and ask them some questions as well.
Yeah.
Brian and Erin. What?
So yeah,
I found out that Brian Chambers was married a couple of weeks ago. That was heartbreaking. Never mind.
Just the hair though. If you take the hair and put it on someone else, you might still.
Miz.
My car's full all of a sudden.
It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, it's well worth going. Like I said, I've been to the last 2, and hopefully, if it raises enough funds, we can keep it going for years to come. That's what the main aim is. So, like I said, it's run by the fans. So we're not getting any, apart from some free shit from the devs. We're not getting any input from them. In terms of rating, it's not official, but it's nice to have. It's also important for people that can make it to show up, because it shows not only is it a good event for everybody that's there, but it also shows CIG that people in the UK are still interested, and it's because if they're going to put an event on and they want to know what the turnout's going to be like, these sort of events will show them how many people are actually interested in turning up to events and official events and things like that. Otherwise, you're just going to see everything in America and we won't ever get to see it. So I think it's definitely worth showing up if you can.
It's great to meet everyone. Like, I mean, I do with some of the guys. Obviously, I don't do this, but I go along to it. It's a London bar citizen, which I go to every 2 weeks, and we go there, and it's good, and I get to meet people all the time. And what's good about that is if they go up to these events, then you get to know, or vice versa. The word, we get to spread information amongst ourselves. It's just as powerful as using the internet and all the rest of it. So, yeah, it's I agree with Biz. We need more of this stuff going on, really, and trying to get the community engaged in the UK together, because it makes it better for everyone.
I think at the moment it's with the game being at the early stage, it's that we're going to see events grow as time goes on. As the game gets more fleshed out, we will see more and more proper event. And I think Britizencon itself is still a pretty modest event, but as time goes on, it's just going to grow and grow and grow. And it'll be crazy if we ever get to the point where Britizencon's like this huge event with thousands of people, like Comic. No, that's too big. But, just this massive event where you've got hundreds of people, well, thousands of people. It'll just be phenomenal seeing that sort of thing. But it is cool at the moment, isn't it?
It would be cool. It would be very cool. And I mean, who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, we talk about a lot with Star Citizen and the CRG in terms of the technology that they're producing, potentially being used to develop other computer games and other things. And who's to say that Britizencon couldn't become more than just Star Citizen? They could become other games, other things that CRG are developing or Cloud Imperials are developing in the future. It could, like you say, it could become something huge. So, we don't know, and you want to be part of that. That's the great thing about this. That's what I loved about it last year, was like, here's a small group of people. You got to meet some of the people that you see on Twitch. You got to meet people you see on YouTube. You got to meet people who are developing the game. You may not get to do that in 5 years' time, because
Don't forget the barman. The barman and
the barman and all the rest of it. It might become, as these things grow and get bigger, things change. So right now it's like it's super cool, and you get really close access to a lot of people that you probably wouldn't be able to do if you went to CitizenCon. Really, I don't think.
Probably a bit too close for access.
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 people. I think there was a little bit too close. Yes, but all respect for Brian.
It's a good thing though for people like me, especially, who don't get to go to these events quite as often as. It's difficult because of where I work and how I work. It's a pain in the ass, to be honest. But getting to go to these events is really nice. I remember going to my first MCM Comic-Con in London. A wide variety of people interest was really nice, because up where I am, you don't really see a lot of people with interest, and it can be hard to get to know other people. So it's good to get out and meet people, put names to faces and shake hands and go and get pissed.
Doesn't get
that bit, yeah.
I've never been to any sort of fan event ever.
And not got pissed. Did you finish the sentence there, or is that it, Moist?
I'm only going so I can have a drinking partner for a change.
It's shit drinking alone, isn't it? It's so sad.
So depressing. This is my first sober day in 3 months.
You're there in the pub and you're like, anyone?
Star Citizen, anybody? No. But I mean, that makes a good point, because it's still, although we're almost, I think, at 2 million citizens now on the website, but it's still quite niche, and like knowing people in your area to go on like a bar citizen thing, there's not so many. So it is really good to be able to get hundreds of people all in one room and being able to talk to them about Star Citizen, and something that you enjoy playing and looking forward to, and what we talk about every week, basically. So
I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll be all Star Citizen out by the time we get there. Go, this game, yeah. Tell us something new.
Talking of Star Citizen, they've reached 2 million backers.
Yes.
Well.
Oh, they've reached it now, have they? Okay, it was 30 away at the start, so. That's one person made 30 accounts. Nicely done. Probably because I think someone's probably has, because they're hoping to get that. Well, they gave away a ship, didn't they, to the millionth citizen? So that's probably why everyone's probably gone there and made alternate accounts to try and be the 2 millionth citizen.
That last from the base, she was the 1 millionth, wasn't she?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't remember her name now. Fuck.
How to make it big in the world of Star Citizen? Just get that 2 million number next to your instance.
She said that a lot of people contacted her for her account now, so I expect the number 2 million.
Yeah,
Have loads of people being like, "Can I get your account?"
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's why people would have made loads of accounts and then just delete
Be
them.
right back. I just need to send a message.
Eden Star, that's the one. I couldn't think of it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Cool.
But it's funny because she was the millionth citizen, and since then she's like really got embroiled into Star Citizen, doing her own podcast on the base radio, I think it is. So yeah,
I don't know that any other unfortunately.
There is no other podcasts. That wasn't even English. I don't even know what that said.
There is no other one.
There is no other
I don't know.
Okay, cool. Right, well, I think we're all in agreement that Britizencon is a very good event to go to.
Yes. Can we get on to some sort?
That's what I'm saying. So we're gonna roll on now to some Star Citizen stuff that's not Britizencon.
Yeah,
but if you haven't got your tape, ! Brit in chat to get links to Britizencon, ! Question or question mark or whatever in chat to get to our question form if you've got any questions for us on the podcast or for Ilaria and about her stall.
Yeah.
Not that one that you're thinking either.
Her stall.
Not the stall sample.
It's all mine. Just belongs to me. Yeah.
All these goodies are mine.
The costume and all that, and the Miss Universe.
That is mine. Oh, no, that is mine.
Miss First. That's what it needs to be.
Miss First contest. I thought we need to kind of get female characters in game. Well, it won't be there, unfortunately. So
yeah, does that suck for you that there's no female characters? Is that like a real pain?
I tend to play first person anyway.
Yeah.
See myself. So until the female characters come in, it's not going to bother me either way that it's a dude. It's a dude. Doesn't really bother me. I'm happy to wait so long as it's done right. Not ridiculous.
So
tit monster.
you're happier that it's a bloke rather than a really badly made female.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
You're not a huge tit monster, right? Just
tit monsters.
Although we all know what Manus' intentions are.
Let's not have this discussion. Thank you.
I will be playing as a female character for sure. I do like
some foot motor
with a very deep voice.
With a slightly deep voice, yes.
Some guys that I know who actually say they prefer playing female characters because if they're going to play in third person, they want to look at a nice piece of arse.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty much what I do. Yeah.
Did you tell them that it's not real arse though?
I don't think it makes much difference to them, to be honest.
I was going to
no difference.
Decided against it. Let's not burst their little bubbles.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Don't ruin Madness's life.
No.
Bursting my bubbles don't need to be burst. So I'm going to move it on very quickly onto something more. I'm just going to say that there has been the green light lit, whatever. The new patch is being lit by CRG. We should hopefully, because at the end of the day, we all know how we can't play it. Like most people can't play it. It's breaking all the time. It's crashing all the time. So we've been desperately wanting to know if there's going to be a new patch. There is. It's been greenlit. It's coming through, hopefully.
Patch 735941.
J's out. Patch J's out.
That moist noodles dicking around with the asylum because I could just seeing big smiley faces.
Yeah, I saw that.
They're not doing anything.
And moving the links. That was literally.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me. That actually wasn't me.
And greenlit. What's that all about?
It means, so it goes through testing phases before, so QA have it, and then when they greenlight it, it gets dropped to the actual PTU server. It's now in the
first wave. It's on the first wave of testers as well, so it's no longer subs, concierge, and evos. It's in the first wave of testers, so they're not going to be able to play either.
I know.
But it is kind of unplayable at the moment.
Actually, talking about first wave, okay, so for everyone here, how do you guys feel? Because I noticed Twerk put out a video on YouTube, and he kind of mentioned something, and I've had a few people say this before, like because currently it's basically anyone that's actually financially invested or evocati is get access to first wave now. I know some people who are first wave who haven't been particularly wealthy, who don't have a lot, who haven't paid for the subscriptions and all the rest of it. aren't in, and they're a bit salty about it. And I was like, I was kind of going boo-hoo because I didn't get to go in first wave for ages, so I really don't give a shit. But they obviously do. So I'm just curious what you guys think about it. What do you think? It's a real shame.
I think
for
if
them,
you're
or-
paying extra, fair enough, get in. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good reward.
Yeah, but like, did they say? Have they ever actually said just because you was in first wave the first time, you're going to be in first wave the next time? I don't remember actually ever saying that. Just because you got it once.
Did I just disappear off Zoom, by the way?
It was a perk. It was a perk before that. If you were active, and they would do select samples, so that if you had done 3 PTUs consistently in a row, there was a chance. I think it was that you were privileged to be selected to go into the first wave. That was kind of the.
It is still that. It is still the more active you are, the more you report on the issue council. That's what.
But there's still no guarantee that. But I don't think they've actually guaranteed access.
I don't think so. I think it is. I mean, you can lose first wave. I know a few people have said that they've lost first wave, but they haven't been playing the game.
Yeah,
they want people who actually put the time in and report bugs to get the access, because that's helping ultimately get the game ready, isn't it?
I mean, we're
I've
still
been
going
reporting loads by pressing that grey button that comes up every time it crashes.
We still just keep going round the circles of it. The people fail to see that it's testing for bug fixing rather than just getting first access. I just want to get into that new ship first, which is not what it's about.
It's not fun first way. It's not fun being on the PTU until it's close to being final. So you're not like you get
I am first wave apparently. Yeah, that's
no, but I disagree. No, I disagree slightly. It is fun for 30 minutes of a 7-hour attempt. That's the reality. It's 7 hours of pain for 30 minutes of fun.
It really depends what you enjoy. I do actually personally enjoy going into buggy patches and trying to find workarounds for bugs, because that's the kind of masochist I am.
I had a bug yesterday that was just hilarious. I was in a reclaimer and I was trying to jump. And every so often there would be like geometry inside the reclaimer that was just sticking out. And every time I would pass there, because I took my spacesuit off, I would start losing oxygen. And then eventually I looked third person while I was flying back to Olisar, and the whole ship was practically missing, barring a few components and things. There was geometry swinging around like this massive black hole. And at that point, it was about 2 a.m. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to play this anymore. I'm going to bed. So I did.
We'll call it the polygon virus, that is.
That's the polyvirus. That's what that one is.
Not really sure what I would think of that, because as far as I'm concerned, the first wave of PTU is, bug testing.
Yeah.
You're going to get absolutely fucked over by bugs. It's going to be infested. That there's no other. And shame when people that have done it before don't get in, but at the same time, they've never made that promise, as far as I'm aware. It's never been.
I hate to say it, but Star Citizen itself is an alpha. You're playing the test server of an alpha game. What do you think is going to happen, people?
People do tend to judge it face value as if it's a game, and it's just it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
It's
not.
So the next thing, because there's some good stuff to talk about, is the Reclaimer vid. So we got dropped a advertisement / Squadron 42 video, which was like a few minutes long, I think it was. Moist was so excited, he asked me to tell him what I thought about it.
The first 30 seconds I thought were phenomenal.
Last time he ever probably asked me to watch a video before.
No, I will ask you to drown me in salt. It's absolutely fine.
You got to be cautious when Moist says, "Watch this video."
I did rip it apart, but said the first 25 seconds are stunning. I agree, they're amazing.
I thought we weren't going to get any more adverts, but
we got 5.
But this is what I was going to say. I'm pretty sure the first few seconds of that It has to be from Squadron 42. It has to be.
Well, it does the little It does the little type thing. Comes up with the thing when he pops into the ship, and it goes and it talks about. It just feels like this is definitely something happening in Squadron 42.
I have, you know, when like a few years back, I got really excited for the game, and then it sort of
wait for the hips, guys. Wait for the hips. Wait for the hips. Hang on, carry on.
The male hips.
Look at that! Look at that hip shake. It's literally more. It looks like unbelievable.
I am back in that state of hype again after spending time on the Reclaimer because it's the ship that I want in a space game.
So poor.
You know, can I just say the Reclaimer is the ship that got me into Star Citizen, but I am so unhyped by it at the moment because it's not necessarily the ships now that I'm excited for. It's the mechanics that go with them.
Yeah.
Because I can't do bugger all with my Reclaimer.
That's the thing. That's the thing. When you're
a glorious
chat
chat room.
When you're an old hat in Star Citizen, when you've been around for like anywhere from about 6 months to over a year and a half, the shine of new ships starts to wear thin because you've just seen nothing but new ships generally, and game mechanics haven't come. So by the time you're at this stage now, you are literally at the stage of like most of us going, I just want fucking to have mining in and salvage. I just want to actually play the game with a bit more of the mechanics, please. Do you know what I mean? That's literally what the community is screaming for right now. It's literally like, we love it. We know you can do beautiful spaceships, but we just want to play mining and salvage and combat and all the things, you know. That's what we want.
I agree. It is like at the moment I'm getting very excited to play the game and just to play the PU, you know, with the missions and stuff. When the frame rate's good, it actually feels like a great game. And then I jump into it, and currently the reality is it's unplayable. It is. I mean, I've had very little good events with 3.1. When it first came on, I did, but now it's sort of lost the ability to play because I start off with 30 frames. It's all great, few lag spikes, but then it starts getting to like 5 or 6 FPS, and it just kind of puts me off. But I'm getting that hype back to play it properly.
Another one, Terrapin. Fantastic. I feel like Darth Vader when I get in that ship. It's so cool. I want to sit in that chair and have my fucking body armor come on my gear and literally just have some weird robot kind of program me and make me an android or something. And it's just such a cool ship.
I don't think that's what the chair does at the back. I don't think
it doesn't
it's not.
Strap
armor to
you. I would like variant. I would like a variant. That droid variant.
It just puts your armor on.
I was like, that would be literally, that's like my Emperor kind of like arrival ship type of thing, you know, kind of like bad. Yeah, it's cool. I love the styling. I said I love it. I think it's a great ship, but it doesn't do anything. The mechanics, it's just another it's just another pointless ship, and it's really sad because I want to have more love for these ships. I want to be like super hyped because I'm going to have scanning this patch as well. You know what I mean? It's like now I've just got a ship that I can't do anything.
It is kind of true that you do. It is kind of ship after ship that you can't really do anything with. But it is. I've always thought this, like getting the ships in early allows us to iron out any bugs with the ships before the gameplay comes in. And I think that, you know, there's a lot of people that say, I want my ship in game. Why is my ship not in game? They put it in and people are saying, well, why put the ships in when they're not functional? Like, well, people want them in. So I think they are bringing out ships now that are more aligned with the mechanics that are coming.
Squadron 42. Squadron 42. There's no doubt.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people that, and I've been the same actually. So although I get what you're saying, Madness, but if the ships are ready, I want to see them, either with functions or not. And I've always been like that because I've always been one where even from when I backed, you only had the hangar and you could just see what you've got and it's in the hangar. And so I do like seeing. I suppose what's happening is if there's ships coming out that aren't interesting you, then you're probably like, well, I don't really care whether they're being added or not. Whereas people that own those ships, whether they function or not, they want to see them.
Do you mind if I just stop you for a second so I can respond to something Matt Sherman said in chat? So in chat, Matt Sherman says, as is, we've got to be a bit more measured before pushing any gameplay systems into the build because whatever the first glimpse is will skew some expectations. This comes back to what I said in the last podcast. It doesn't matter how a mechanic or piece of gameplay is implemented in Star Citizen, there's going to be a chunk of the community that aren't going to be happy with it. It's just what it is. However Star Citizen ends up launching, there will be people who were expecting something and it's not what they're going to get. You know, so...
Yeah, but that's no reason why you shouldn't do it. I'm like, that's still no reason to keep constantly just being like, that's like being afraid. That's like a fraidy cat concept. You can't do that. I don't care.
Exactly.
Half the community
That's kind of the
fucking
point
hates
that I'm
it.
making.
Who cares? You got to do.
They're not putting gameplay mechanics out there because they're afraid to do so. They're doing it because they're just not ready yet. But they are obviously working on it. You know, that's.
I'm sure. But my worry is you got a Starfire. You don't want to have a Starfire scenario again where you got a fuel ship for 2 years with nothing to do with it. That's the worry. That's the concern. And I'm just going based on history because that's all we have to play on. I'm literally just doing this based on history. It's like looking back on the history of what we've had over the period of X number of times. I'm sure you could justify and give me reasons, but the truth is that's it. There's a ship and there's many other ships that have been in the game for a long period of time that I've got no game mechanics for working for them properly, other than cargo now. And I worry is when you hear, I mean, we'll talk about RTV later, but you hear some of the language and the communication, big features are not going to be coming. Things are going to be moving. Things have been changing. They're communicating to the community and stuff. It's like I've just got massive red flags at the moment are waving all over the place, kind of going, I'm getting concerned. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of shit that's making me concerned.
So, speaking of those red flags, can we talk about the survey for a second?
Yeah, I mean, I brought it up, so if people want to carry on talking about this briefly, does anyone else got anything else they want to add?
I was only going to say that my main thing that I'm waiting for is the science stuff.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait for the science stuff.
Endeavour. I've got an Endeavour. I've got a Reliant Sen. I've got, and none of those mechanics are in. So for me, it's just sort of sitting back and waiting to see what happens. But
it's a long way.
I'm not fussed either way, really, because I
but would you
can't
want to
play
see
the
your
game.
No, okay. But if you could play the game, would you want to see your ship in there, even if it wasn't the mechanic wasn't ready? So like your Endeavour or whatever. Would you like to just climb on board?
I would rather see it properly implemented, because if I get on there and kind of ruins it, it ruins that anticipation, and I'm okay with waiting. I'm fine with that. Not just because I got hit by the ram jump.
Yeah, but that, I mean, that's
warning.
Yeah, hopefully that's
nice,
something that's going to be
but,
fixed rather than. I hope.
Yeah,
but it was a pain in the ass.
If we end up interrupting you earlier, it's probably might be because your microphone's just dropped out. We're not sure if you're.
Yeah. It keeps dropping out a little bit. That's all.
Sucks balls. Oh well.
I think we got that bit. We got the picture.
Yeah, we got the sucks balls, but it may just likes that sort of language.
we got the gist of it. Like you're basically saying, like you'd rather have the mechanics and the ship at the same time rather than just the ship.
I mean, I don't mind if one comes out before the other, but if the ship does come out, I want it to be implemented properly. So I don't really want it to have the geometric errors. I don't want to fall out the lift, get ejected into space randomly.
Are you saying that's something that happens in Star Citizen?
But the point is, like, if the ships come in with the actual mechanics straight off, you're going to be doing something like worthwhile, like actually working on that ship, and then get sucked out, rather than just walking around your ship exploring it, then getting sucked out, which would be a lot more annoying if you're actually halfway through a task and you're not wearing a spacesuit, because a lot of these ships don't, they don't expect you to wear a spacesuit all the time. So,
but I know. One of our first group outings was on a Caterpillar. We were doing a run. We decided to practice escort runs. Caterpillar. I stood up from the co-pilot seat, and the next thing I knew, I was 5,000 K behind it, thinking, "What the hell? Did somebody fart?"
Just madness.
Was it you? It was you, wasn't it? We'll blame you. But I had to EVA back to the ship because they couldn't see me. They couldn't figure out where I'd gone. So
if only we had.
If only you had that personal beacon.
Yeah, if only. But it was funny. It very funny, and
yeah.
that's why I don't mind so much if it all happens sort of with its mechanics, because you know you kind of understand there's going to be some bugs and some glitches. I just personally don't have a pretty ship. I want to play with my pretty ship. I want to
You don't, yeah.
I want to get that hadron collider and start blowing particles up. You know, that is going to be cool.
I get what you mean. It's almost like opening your present on Christmas Eve or before before it's ready. You know what I mean? It's like, so some people want to see it and they're happy, they don't care what sort of state it's in, but other people, that will ruin the feel for it. They want to be able to get it and take it out and ride it or whatever it is that you got and have it functioning. And if it doesn't work, it might put you off the ship, or because there's quite a few people, as a different example, is people have bought these ships. They've been released in the PTU. Now, we all know that things haven't been finished yet, combat, the flight mechanics and all that, and people are trading. I'm one as well, the Reliant. It flies like crap half the time when I was flying it, that I thought I don't want this ship anymore. Now that's the wrong attitude, because in terms of it hasn't finished, they haven't finished tweaking the ship, they haven't finished the flight mechanics, and you never know, it might fly brilliantly by the time it actually get your hands on it. And so you can easily get put off ships and things like that if you play it and it's not. And there's so many complaints saying, I'm selling this ship, it flies like crap, or this doesn't hit as hard as it should do, and things like that. So yeah, I get.
Does the Reliant really fly like crap though? Because I just thought it was me. I thought I was just shit.
No, it flies like crap.
This comes back to the conversations that we have had in previous podcasts. It really is unfair that you have ships like that are that bad. So why can't we have access to other ships?
Mechanics.
If you only have enough money to get yourself a Reliant, and you're stuck with a Reliant, that's kind of unfair, really.
I think
in my opinion.
The most way to get around that is something like being able to buy and sell, or buy ships or rent ships in the verse, and that's something I think is going to really settle a lot of people's worry about what ships they own. Yeah, and I think that's a real important thing they need to get in.
Well,
it wasn't on the survey.
We mentioned this.
No.
We mentioned this. Yeah, we mentioned this last week. I think is that started. CRGs clearly have been sampling. They've clearly. I mean, I said it the other day. They've been clearly sampling with more of the skin sales and more of these things, just to see what the kind of the feedback from the financial return would be from the community. And I think it's probably, judging on the fact that we had 133k in a weekend, was probably pretty much like, ooh.
People like sick green skins.
People like competition. People like, it's not that difficult. I've always said that, like, it's not that difficult. Honestly, people say it's really complicated. It's not that difficult. People want to buy exclusive shit. I said before, they could set up a system where, if they really want to make money, they're very good at it. You could easily make revenue from getting approval. They've said it before. I think Chris said it about having approval system built in where, we design shit and they approve it, and then you get your custom stuff and it costs you an X amount of money. People will pay big bucks to have their own org logos all over their ships. People will pay big bucks to have custom gear, to have your logo on the back of your org, on your back of your jacket or whatever. People will pay a lot of money, and you can separate out. You don't have to buy, you don't have to buy just one thing. You can separate, so you can buy it for all the different armor. They could spread it out and they could make some good money from that facility, and I think that's where they should go with it personally.
Like EA
get off the ship run. Yeah, I think they, just make
loot boxes. Give us loot crates.
No, you can't get away from it. Loot boxes make a lot of money, and if you run away from it, you're crazy. But if you do it so it's just cosmetic, doesn't affect the overall gameplay, it's fine for me. For me, it's fine, and you got to make money. This game needs to make 35 million whatever a year, so they have to find a way to do it. They've got 500 staff, 4 studios. They need to make money.
No, I agree with like cosmetic thing. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, if it's like nothing that will give anyone the advantage over someone else. But yeah, cosmetically, it's a good idea. I mean,
I will pay a minimum of $200 for blue and black two-tone hair.
There you go. And that's it. People will pay crazy. Like I said, if they're going to have apartments, they're going to have the buildings, they're going to have things. People are going to fill their shit with whatever they want. They can make a lot of money from that. And then you can make it so that people can buy it in game as well. You have to earn it through, you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. It's all there. I'm sure they will get to it. I'm happy that they're testing the waters at the moment, because it shows me a bit of positivity towards maybe we might get ships in game this year. but I'm going to keep. I don't want to go on about it. I've said enough on the buying ships in game. If people want to go check out some of my old podcasts with the Asylum here, because I'm literally said enough. I think on this one, I really have. They need to sort that shit out quickly. I wanted to talk about the fact that we have 100 ship adverts. Does anyone know that?
100. Nice.
Yeah. There's 100 ship adverts. If there's a link, I'll link it in Twitch. I think there's literally, I can't believe it. I was like, didn't they talk about this game originally having 100? Was it, how many ships was it first?
There's 100. Isn't there 160 ships or something like that? It was. I said it the other week.
That's including variant, is it?
Yeah.
I think it's 108, isn't there, or something like that? That and without the variants, but then.
Do you know how many of those are unavailable to purchase right now? Of that 108 ships, quite a lot. Quite a lot.
I feel like you're getting to a point here.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, quite a lot are not available.
What's your
to
point?
purchase.
You can literally pull salt out of anything.
No, but I'm just saying. Again, it's like.
Do you know how many ships they've got? Do you know how many you're allowed to buy? Lots of them.
I saw
It's
some
staggering,
car park, and I just thought, you fucking bastards, get out of the car park.
But then it's like, but then part of me was like, I was originally going, that's really bad. But then a part of me is like, well, if they're gearing up to give us ships in game, that's actually probably a good thing. So I do correct myself. And there's a latest scale pick. I don't know if you guys have seen the scale of all the latest. If anyone likes all that stuff, there's a latest scale pick out there to show you all the scales of the ships again that's been done for this year, which is pretty sweet.
Reclaim a biggest.
Yeah.
It's not about the biggest.
The biggest
right?
we can fly at the moment, but yeah.
Well,
And literally, I don't know what Reddit is doing. Oh, look at that! It's so cool. There's some like pretty cool, pretty crazy when you
This
think
is
about it.
still
I can't wait for
huge.
that.
The
Carrick
pioneer.
is that javelin though. That javelin is so big.
I love it when you see the small ones like the.
The reclaimer.
Well,
Look at the
this
reclaimer next to the javelin.
all this
And
little
look
one
at
here,
that.
the Nox. The Nox is like someone's put a mark on the page by mistake.
Yeah, line. It's like the lettering for a poa is bigger than the
It
actual
is.
Nox itself.
Yeah.
Like I cannot wait to when we actually get a capital ship in game. Honestly, like when we get capital ship in game, it's just going to be like, can you just like when it's cruising into like Olisar or whatever the stations will be to be able to hold them, like it'd just be like it's going to be as big as the station just coming in. And I hope, I'm curious as if it'll be able to, how many people will be able to, like, they must have some sort of automatic kind of like landing, you have to have the automatic landing system and all that. Like one person trying to land a capital ship's just going to be
I wouldn't want that
impossible, right?
responsibility.
I wouldn't. Yeah,
I'll do it. I've learned a lot from Sea of
I'll
Thieves.
do it.
Okay.
I think
Wow.
one thing that's going to be
Capital ships.
one of the things that's going to be nice in something like the Aurora is you are going to feel tiny. When one of these big ships start flying next to you, you are going to feel absolutely tiny.
Oh my god, yeah.
I already feel tiny under the reclaimer.
Yeah.
But then the thing is the part of me though, the combat part of me is just like the fact it's so big. I'm kind of like, I like that. You're a small saber or something. Is that stealthy saber or whatever the stealth ships will be? Thinking about opportunities to like, how can you do like a kind of a Millennium Falcon power down and just attach yourself to the hull kind of thing and then work your way through the crew. Which should be pretty cool. But anyway,
that is one thing with the bigger ships is you might be able to do that, like approach and sort of
hope so.
get in without being seen so easy because you're such a big ship.
Yeah. I hope that's the case. I hope it will be. Could you imagine as well keeping tab of employees and stuff on these ships? Like how many people?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Being someone that's not supposed to be on there is going to be easier the bigger the ship.
Yeah, I think so.
What do you do? I'm the doctor.
Yeah,
Where's
it'd be nice
Medbay?
if you could knock someone out and then take the clothing and then sort of blend in.
Yeah, that's a man.
Governor.
Could you imagine you'd be on the ship for months?
something from a locker.
And they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know who
You
are,
could just raid lockers and find someone's uniform while they're asleep. Stab them, obviously, first and foremost.
It'll be a lot harder to do that in a herald.
I wouldn't ever want to roleplay a doctor if I was doing that. Can you imagine somebody approached you about their hemorrhoids flaring up again?
Yeah, you want to
That'd be
speak to my friend.
You realise that the uniform you've got is the
Hemorrhoids in your
captain's and you walk
spacesuit.
around. Captain.
So, RTV, ATV this week have been really interesting.
Let's
If
do
anyone
ATV.
wants-
Let's do ATV so we get away from the salt a little bit, and then we can go to RTV.
Let's do ATV.
You're not going to get away from the salt.
Let's go
ATV is
ATV.
quite good.
Now, ATV, I really liked it. I agree with Biz. I thought it was really good. I like the studio update was solid. The audio guys are fantastic. I can't really fault them too much on anything really they do. So, and it was very informative. And I like the way they took us on a little journey of showing us how they did the audio and stuff. I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done.
Usually,
Really
when there's like an ATV about audio and it's about the music, don't get me wrong, the music, Pedro and Jeff, they're extremely talented people, but I always turn the music off in games because I want the experience. I don't want I want the immersion. But having the ambient sounds of space stations, and what got me the most was the fact that the weather affects the actual external weather affects the sounds and
Oh, that was so cool. That was
phenomenal.
So
Imagine
cool.
being
I agree.
in a storm while you're inside, like you're taking shelter in an outpost, or you're exploring a wreck, and then you can hear the wind rushing, and the idea that you can actually tell your proximity to an exit while just based on the weather itself is quite clever.
Well, that's the thing I
All
love
I
about
care
The Witcher.
about, all I care about is hearing the scuttling in the air conditioning pipes.
In your suit's helmet.
Face hugger. But the Witcher does that when the weather changes, or like when Sea of Thieves or any other game, you know, when the weather changes to like a storm or kind of like wind blowing and snowing, it just takes you to that place of, you know, it makes you fully immersed in the moment. I agree. So no, the sound is super important, and they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Speaking of sound and Sea of Thieves, Matt Sherman, can we please have an accordion? That would be great. Thank you. Get to work on that.
So you were showing the customizer, Ms. at the beginning of here. What do you guys think of the customizer? What's your guys' feeling on that so far?
It's okay. It's obviously there's not a great variety at the moment, but it's better than having everyone running around with the exact same face, hair, everything. So it's I think I don't think they're quite uniform. The UI they have, like the hair, the eyes. It looks like it's different things from different games rather than specifically Star Citizen UI. But I guess for the first iteration, it makes sense.
It's
I thought it was alright.
I mean, as it's picking, like, you're just focusing on set objects and planting it on. I think they make the faces reasonably well. It's not like it's obviously nowhere near as in depth as it's hopefully going to be.
And it's still like weird, like heads.
They've got weird faces. I said that last time, I think, or was it on the captain's table? And I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Is the faces that were in at the moment? I hope they weren't actually people's scanned faces because they looked awful. It's like, and then some bloke goes, "Hey, there's my face. Wait, it's my face." It's, sorry, mate.
They probably are. Yeah, you got to be.
That one's really good. No,
I quite enjoy putting like the clearly either black faces or white faces, but with a different colour skin, because it's clearly not a match, and it just looks so strange.
It looks odd. It's all right. I think it's fine for the first edition. I think it's good. I have no real problems with it at all.
I look forward to taking Mac's nose and putting it on my face.
Doing what?
The hair is bad.
I want your nose.
My nose. What, even with the scars from Fogey Boots?
No, but that was after you got scanned, wasn't it? So
yeah, no, that's true. Yeah,
that's fine.
Did you guys notice that some of the hair though, like I think the ones where the long hair kind of looks a bit too wig-like? I think there's one instance where I think I tried one.
I've also
the clipping
noticed
the way it fits on the head.
It clips. Yeah,
it didn't quite work.
It's a bit weird. So it was like, ooh, but the hair is notoriously, polygon like hungry. It's always quite, to get like realistically hair and stuff. It's always been quite a challenge as far as I'm aware. It's one of the places where they save.
Hair's a difficult thing to get right anyway, even in traditional art. It can.
Yeah. Even in real life.
Even in real life.
I can't get my hair right.
Forever, my hair is atrocious.
Keeping mine down with the headset at the moment, it's standing all over the place. But it's difficult under the best of circumstances to get hair right, and eventually the just needs a bit of tweaking, little bit of finesse on there, and it'll
Bit of hair
tidy
gel,
it up and make it look cool.
hairspray.
So,
It'd be
it's a bit of hairspray, bit of wax, you know, some volumizing mousse, and you'll be fine.
Or yeah, as Magic Mo says, just have everybody bald. Then you don't have to worry about it.
Like the Matrix all over again.
Yeah, it'd be so much easier, wouldn't it? Someone's going to go, I'll pitch that to Chris Roberts. That's a great idea, right? From now on, everybody's going to be bald. If you want hair, you just paint it on with a brush or something.
What do you guys think about all the legacy armor and stuff that was on the catch up? So there
wasn't much.
The legacy armor, the concept of the legacy armor and stuff, and the helmets and all that stuff.
Such high fidelity.
What do you think? What do you think about it? I mean,
I'm not a fan of the samurai one, to be honest. It looks too Asian, like specifically Asian. Which I'm not nothing wrong against Asians, but it just looks too obviously from that part of the world, and it's not. I don't know. It didn't do it for me. The loincloth.
I think if I had a lore, I think maybe there's a lore story, but if there was like a lore story to say that this was a particular gang that was from Japan, then I'll be like, yeah, I get it. Like, and it had special kind of like armaments, and this was the kind of like, you know, that I would be like, yeah, that's cool. Like I think in Mass Effect they have like different gangs. It's one of the scenes where they meet these different gangs from different places, and they're like the yellow, you know, I don't say them saying the yellow gang and stuff, but they actually had names and stuff. And I would be like, I'd get that if this was like a Japanese fraction, and then there was a slight variant, then that would make sense to me. It would be, it's still a bit weird to have it like now, if I'm being honest. But that would explain it to me a bit better. I agree.
But do you think this is because we're getting more of this modular type armor where you can swap the heavy with the light pieces and things like that? So they're trying to make it a bit more generic and a bit safer rather than having bits coming off it and like what we would probably maybe imagine a more sci-fi looking outfit. It's trying to keep it a bit simple.
If they lost the loincloth, which has no relevance whatsoever. I mean, a loincloth is to cover your fucking genitals.
No, the loincloth in this respect is because it looks awful. Like trying to do armor that doesn't look like you're wearing a pair of pants is like some of the other games I've got it and it looks dreadful.
Have you seen the heavy armor military stuff the guys wear? They wear literally a bulletproof. It's like a big sheet that sits down there. That is literally like, have you seen the ones where the guys like, I think it was in America not too long ago, some guys robbed a bank and they had like literally, you know, with the bomb thing comes up here and literally slits. Their body armor, if you see the body armor, they've got like a massive pouch, got a huge fucking great big like machine gun. And they have these bits that dangle, that hold down the front to protect the front of their legs, to protect obviously the groin area. And they're all plated and like bulletproof and all the rest of it. So for me, same on the back as well, that makes sense. That's actually genuinely legit. Like I'm cool with it.
Loincloth.
Yeah, but this one looks more like a tea towel.
It doesn't. Yeah, I would say it's not quite. I need someone dig out a picture of like a full-on heavy-duty military thing where the armor.
He should know he's played PUBG. Put it in chat. Seen it in PUBG. The armor bit that comes and it's arms and then the full down to the groin.
Yeah, it's like GTA 5, isn't it?
I mean, it's the most important bit that you want to protect, isn't it? Really.
My brain, I think, would actually be probably more important.
Joke. It was a joke. Well,
Ale's like, nah,
your brain's in the jar, Mac. It's fine. Just leave that behind.
It's completely indifferent to me. I'm just sitting there, just thinking of the bulldozers from Payday 2. I'm just wondering if something like that would work in space, because that shit's hard to take down.
I mean, anti-gravity would be having a problem. It might be starting to float up a lot. That's the
that's like
loincloth in the face.
It's actually protecting my nose.
Well, we already have that with the outlaw armor, though, wasn't it? With that skirt thing that's on it. It's just every time you get any cigarette stuff.
It doesn't look good.
It's like,
it doesn't look good. It doesn't look constantly getting in the way. No,
What the fuck is that?
I'm trying to think out.
Thinking about it though, if you did have something like that, the bulldozer with the big huge gun, he's going to be constantly spinning around from the force of the recoil on that thing, isn't he? He's just never going to get his shots off.
Well, they've said in the game that they've got the idea. This is like the idea is that the jets in your suit counters the force the force that's sending you back.
Funny, is it? That's not fun. Come on.
It would be funny though if you're like Right, who's
Would
got
be
the
funny.
machine?
Take it.
And there's a guy in the corner, like spinning around, just fucking firing constantly. Like, get back! Just stop firing!
See, Army of Two, like I love that game, Army of Two. I mean, in terms of styling and the way that they kind of styled it, the game itself wasn't very good, but the way they styled it and stuff was pretty cool. And their armor was, I always remember it being like really sick. And that's what I would like a bit more. Just give me more skulls in game again, like the shipjacker skull with the horns and stuff. That'd be cool for the heavy.
That thing is cool.
Like
I did like Army of Two as well. The design on that was pretty cool. As you said, it wasn't fantastic as a game, but it was enjoyable. Little lucky cat things was always interesting.
Yeah.
Get the good scope on.
No, for sure. But yeah, I'm interesting. And then we've got this legacy armor. This is so boring. I don't know if anyone else. This is so bland. This armor. I'm like, I don't care. This literally looks like a concept artwork. I'm sorry.
I get the feeling why, like, they sort of brushed over this and the senator outfits because I think I don't think many people are too bothered about them. I mean, it's we've had these outfits obviously for a while, which is why the legacy outfits, and I just want to see new things in the stores.
That's exactly how I feel. I'm fed up with stuff getting reworked. Let's move forward, please.
Yeah. 100%. I agree. It's like, if you want it to be, they talk about wanting it to be legacy armor, then leave it as legacy armor and move on to the next stuff. That's fine. It's fine.
But I think it's more bringing it into the modern method of building it because the assets use a lot less memory and all that sort of tech stuff, which is necessary. But just don't tell us. Just
they changed the designs though, right? Yeah, exactly. I agree. Don't tell us. Just put it in there. Leave that as little surprises that we talked about. I think and other people talked about. Leave the surprises for us. They don't have to show us everything. Leave a few little sneaky surprises. They were good at not telling us 3.0 whatever PTE was live, wasn't it? That was a pretty nice surprise. What else have we got? I must say the tree stuff. Did you see the tree? I'm like, ooh, sneaky speed tree. I can't wait to see this.
They showed a tiny little section of it, didn't they? It's like, that's coming some point in the future.
Yeah. I was like,
you know what actually blew my mind? I actually looked into Speed Tree last night, and I didn't realize how many movies the Speed Tree technology was used in. It's phenomenal. Like pretty much every movie that I've watched ever.
It's part of Lumberyard, apparently, isn't it? And I think Elder Scrolls, one of the Elder Scrolls used it, something like that. I've been told. But it's part of the package in Lumberyard, so it's actual tech built into the engine, so it should.
Yeah. So it's Crytek technology then, basically? Is what you're saying?
No, Lumberyard isn't Crytek.
Lumberyard is Amazon.
No, Amazon.
Not...
No. I mean, was it originally? Because I know that the Crytek was bought obviously by Lumberyard, and they changed the name to obviously Lumberyard. But the actual. What I'm thinking is this coding actually the CryEngine's coding, or is this new coding from Lumberyard?
I don't know. I honestly don't know if it's
Speed Tree is in CryEngine 5 apparently.
Yeah, but it might be modified. That's the truth. It might be modified, but I know because we all know that CryEngine, like when you think of like Crysis and all the rest of it, when they did the cities and stuff, the foliage and the grass area always looked so good.
And Chris always says, doesn't he? We're going to have Crysis level of detail.
That's a lot of things.
Fuck you.
No, I agree. Well, that's what I think. That's what a lot of us are desperate to see. I mean, these obviously they've got to get the technology there, and the bare moons and everything are wonderful in terms of what they've managed to do, and to get the procedurally generated moons in is great. But I think most of us want to see some form of living world that you can actually see yourself on, rather than just rocks. So I think that's a big thing that people are looking forward to.
Have we got any, just before we go anyway, have we got any questions in the questions, by the way?
None. Nobody wants to ask any questions tonight.
Daku has just given us a question, so other people can go. He says, what do you think of the Nox Q being back on sale?
I said it makes sense.
It'd be nice if it worked.
It's the Nox Q has come into 3.1. They pushed that into 3.1. We've had the Nox already, but the Nox Q is different. It's the different variant. So,
does it handle well?
It's the one that works.
Yeah, I've had a little play with it, but I I wouldn't say I'm a good judge of
Skin?
whether it's good or not. It's
Faster? Slower? Quicker? More guns?
It's
Yes.
about the size of the reclaimer.
That's what I thought. So it's a beast then, basically. So there's. I always thought it was just a skin. I thought it was just I just thought it was.
I think it
just a
is
different
just
colour.
a skin. Yeah.
I thought it was just a color.
Maybe
It was
just a
supposed to
skin,
be
why it was so
limited.
difficult to bring it in.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. So for me,
It
uh,
was
I think
supposed to
that's
be
what
the
it-
equivalent of the yellow jacket, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that people are saying is, again, it's like they sell it as if, like, say the yellow dragonfly was a good example in terms of this is a not pre-order, what's it, concept sale, and it's available for the concept only, as if that's the only way you're going to be able to get hold of it, and then to resell it, it's just, yeah, it's not. It's
I mean,
not.
it makes more sense that being back on sale than things like the Prospector and.
Well, no, because they weren't limited. If the Nox Q was a limited skin
I
for
see.
concept
Yeah, they're not supposed
sale,
to be limited like
then
the
why
yellow
are they
jacket.
what you
No, true.
resell is you
The
resell the
Nox
Nox
skins.
once it's back on,
Yeah,
but you shouldn't be selling that variant of it the same way as the
no.
Dragonfly yellow jacket shouldn't have been sold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's limited,
Because that
then
was a
no,
limited
you
thing.
shouldn't be selling it again.
no, exactly. But they
Although
don't.
they didn't have to say
it's
how
fine,
many
I just-
limits are added to it.
It doesn't encourage me to buy limited chips.
No. That's
Yeah,
true.
people will just stop buying limited ships because you think,
Yeah,
well, it's not really limited.
I'll get
is
it next time.
Your credibility has been
Yeah.
damaged for sure. I think we're in agreement with that one. Miz, we've got what else? You've got.
But if anyone has any
gameplay.
questions,
Oh,
exclamation mark question in chat,
yeah,
or put
we'll go
them in
through
chat
them as we go
well.
through. Yeah, we'll go through them as we go along.
Exclamation
So did we see the tree stuff? Did you see? I think I had a video there of the tree.
I don't
and
think
it's
so.
also
Speed
done-
Tree. Speed Tree
is there
is
a
a piece
video?
of technology. I think it works like a
It's a little
plugin.
video. And hanger.
So-
Oh, we got hanger. Oh my god, I forgot about that. We
Oh,
got
the hanger thing, yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. That's really exciting, actually. There's new hangers, so for some of those big ships, I guess they'll be able to put some of them in. And
We're
also
not sure when they're coming yet, are we?
yellow. Oh, I forgot about that. And the improved yellow. Like, oh my god,
The
yellow.
planets are
Hmm.
looking insane. Sorry, the moons
Wow.
are looking just insane now. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and this was the tree thing. So yeah, yellow was amazing. The tree stuff was like cool. Can't wait to see that. That's going to be amazing.
That tree makes me think of Dagobah.
Yeah,
Who?
Dagobah.
Dagobah. The
Yoda.
Wompy tree.
So didn't they say with
Yeah.
the hangers that they're trying to make them so that they fit more, being able to integrate them into stations and stuff?
They're making them modular. Yeah. So.
So does that mean? I know
planet
it's a while away, but does that mean we're closer to getting them actually in game rather than just as a thing you load into?
they're definitely getting
is that
closer
the
and
next
not getting
step?
Further away.
Do you think that'll be
Yeah.
like, yeah, well, I don't know, you can say that, but then they've completely scrapped the old hangers, so we could get further away the way they go if they decide to change it. But I meant more in terms of, do you think that's going to be the next step, or do you think we'll see these new hangers as a solo thing again, you know, something that you can just log into, or is the next step just going to be putting them into stations and things?
Well, I don't know if we're going to get it like we have hangers at the moment, but they did mention that the hangers are being made. I'm literally trying to find the fucking information.
Keep going, Mac.
They're wanting to make them properly modular to get them functioning in all the environments. But I don't know if that means we're going to see them as standalone hangers first and foremost, like we have now, or if they're going to be just incorporated into the planets. And the
I
moons.
have a question for you all.
Well, you know where the question form is.
If they...
Exclamation point.
hang on. So if they implement them into the PU, how would you like to see them implemented? So would you, for example, like to select your hangar, and that hangar, you can just select which truck stop that you spawn from, or would you prefer your hangar to be in a fixed location and you kind of purchase that location? So say it would always be Port Olisar or whichever.
I don't
other
think
port.
it's going to be either, to be honest. I don't think the truck stops are big enough to have our own personal hangars within them. I think the personal hangars are going to be things planet side, that when you sort of have, because you can have landing ports where you sort of live, because they say your first hangar rentals or something on a planet are free with like early backers and so forth. So they're going to be on a
So
planet.
you think it'll be a fixed location?
Yeah, there'll be a fixed location that you decide on and you can buy, but
That's
they're
what
not
I'm
going to be
hoping for.
places. They're not going to be places like truck stops because they're just not big enough for everyone to have a personal hangar there.
Well,
nor are they going to be on.
Yes and no, because they have said that the way they did it on like Grim Hex is that you'll have the hangars that will be your hangar, but once you fly in it and the doors close, it becomes an instance, and then someone else can fly into exactly the same hangar. So you could potentially have our hangars on there, but there might only be 3.
Like that. I don't like that. I think it's just too like. If I leave a hangar, my personal hangar with all my stuff, and then I see someone coming in, and I think,
that's fine.
Get out of there. Yeah.
Get off my
There's literally enough space on these moons and planets for everyone to have their own location.
And it makes logical sense. That's the thing. It makes logical sense to have them on those places, not on a truck stop with 3 options where everyone's going into the same fucking place. But I don't know. I don't think they might not even know yet.
They might, yeah.
Nothing's been confirmed, so.
That's why we're talking about it.
Well, maybe. I mean, it'll be interesting. Maybe they won't have the ability to store your ships there, but maybe they'll have like insurance respawn stations where along the way where your ships can be respawned there. Because if you can imagine if you're on a long distance and you can't like store your ship or whatever, you know, it's going to be a problem. And if your ship gets blown up, there's going to be a problem. You got all this way, and then you respawn back at your, or you spawn at a station, and there's no ships. I mean, it could be fun gameplay, immersive gameplay. You have to then suddenly get a,
But I imagine that you'd be able to go to the nearest. Yeah. I would imagine you could go to the nearest truck stop and contact insurance and ask them to drop it off at that truck stop.
Yeah, when you die,
your home location.
You will respawn at the nearest hospital to where you died, which means that you won't have to then get a lift all the way back to your original location to request a ship. You can go anywhere and request a ship,
and you'll claim it. But
depending on the ship and the size and the rarity of it will determine how long it takes and how much it costs. So you could be at a truck stop for like hours thinking, why did I bring a reclaimer?
Do you think they'll just it'll be you can't manually select where you could respawn to, or do you think there'll be like an ability to do that? They'll always force you to go to the same location to respawn.
I wonder if they do something like EVE Online, where you essentially like have a clone, so you have a fixed location that you respawn to.
Like what's EVE?
Sorry, I didn't know what he said then. He was talking gibberish.
Sorry, I'll stop talking now.
I don't speak his language. I think goes into some sort of weird foreign language that I've never heard before.
So with the like bigger ships like Illyria, you've got the Endeavour that's not going to have a hangar. It's not going to fit in a hangar. So
big.
But where
are you going to keep your stuff?
Your own ship.
Does it come with a hangar?
Am I going to keep my stuff?
Like.
No, not that I know of. Not one that it fits in, because I got it as an upgrade. So it was a smaller ship. So I've got a small hangar for a small ship.
Some people have got a problem.
And then this great big sodding monstrosity that I can't park in it. Because I don't really know how hangars are going to work yet. I haven't really. I'm going to do with it. It's interesting question.
I just want an apartment.
Yeah, I mean, because like I don't actually know with the big. I know all the ships I got at least fit in a hangar, so they come with access to a hangar. I don't actually know if the Endeavour came with a form of hangar, even though it doesn't fit, or did it just come as a ship?
Not sure. I would have to check.
It won't have a hangar. There's too big.
I think it has a hangar.
No, I know it won't fit in. I don't mean. I know that. I know it won't actually fit in a hangar.
With the Endeavour, I would have thought you would get a hangar for the sake of you need a place.
That's what I'm trying to say. Does it come with something?
I think every ship package comes with a hangar, regardless of whether it can fit in there or not.
Yeah, because I think they presume that you're going to have a smaller ship at some point.
Let's go to Robert Space Industries and see if we can buy.
I think it may come with, obviously, for the smaller ships. And the I can't remember where it was. I saw something that said that you would be able to detach the Explorer module and take that into a hangar.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah, the front part comes off, doesn't it? So could that get in a hangar?
That's a good point.
So that was something that I can't even remember where I saw it or who I was talking with now.
We've slept since.
That's pretty much it. It was 3 days ago. I don't know what happened yesterday, but there were questions going on about the Endeavour. You know, will you be able to change the pods at hangars? Will you be able to switch? You think if you've got all of them, will you be able to switch them out? How will you do that? Where will you do that? Can you do it at your own hangar?
Yeah.
A hangar, you probably couldn't. So there's lots of questions still floating about how
these bigger ships, definitely.
They
work.
have mentioned that when it comes to the larger ships, they will have orbital docking, which then you'll get a ferry down to your personal hangar. So if you have a hangar on a planet and you want your normal ships that can be inside the hangar, you can get into that. The doors will open, you'll fly off. They did say that if you've got bigger ships, you will have to get into a sort of ferry from your hangar, which will take you to, or maybe go to a ferry port, which will take you to an orbital dock where your big ship will spawn on a docking collar, and then you can all get inside that and take off, but you will not have them in there. Now, I think when it comes to actually adding different modules, it'll either be on your mobiGlas or it'll be in the hangar. You can add them and whatnot, and then you can spawn it. But they have mentioned a while ago about having ferries going from orbital stations back to the hangars and so forth.
Yeah.
I assume that's still the intention.
Daku says that the Endeavour comes with the VFG industrial hangar. So, there you go.
Yeah, I think in the early days when you bought a ship package, you always got a hangar anyway, just for the sake of having a home on a planet.
And that gives it a good point as well. If they're making these hangars more modular and fit the environment, are they going to lose some of the personal touch that they got, like with this industrial hangar and the Aerosmith being the posh one? I mean, how do you fit that to fit an environment, or do they mean externally? Because if you're changing all the inside, are they all going to just look the same?
I think they said they're doing away, didn't they, completely with Rebel New York, that sort of styling. I don't think
people bought these posh hangars. Because that's the thing I'm worried a little bit about. We're getting all this modular outposts and things like that, and I'm worried it's losing some of the individualism from it, because everything has to be modular, therefore it all starts looking the same. Just different bits bolted together. It's like giant jigsaw puzzles. And see, everybody's totally engrossed with that idea.
I think wait and see. I hear what you're saying, though. I hear what you're saying about keeping things kind of generic and stuff. Like, you want to be careful of that. I do like the idea of having, one-piece suits and one-piece things which are designed specifically to be like, a full set. Do you know what I mean? And look stunning and be styling. So I get you. And whereas if you're starting to just think about every single little piece, then you lose the sense of everything. You got to be careful. You got to be careful there. I'm sure they're well aware of that. So, but yeah, I hear you. I think it's definitely something to watch as we go forward over the next year or two. Definitely something to watch. Did you see the biodome stuff? The planet grey boxing with the cyclone on ATV?
Yeah, Ariel.
Did you see that?
It looks so good.
Again, it's like I want to see trees. I want to see.
I know.
Flora,
I think that's the thing. Is like, there's a great video. Diablos has done a video where he's done a comparison. I didn't grab it. I should have put it in here. He's done a comparison between 3.0 and 3.1. Yellow, this is a huge difference. Daymar, not so much.
Not so much.
I think you can see that yellow. I think the original iteration of yellow was pretty much a color variation of Daymar, almost, it felt like. Whereas they've actually really properly done it now with snow, and it really feels like more of a winter wonderland than a.
They do all feel pretty nice. Even Daymar, I must say, feels nice. The only gripe I've got about Daymar is that when you're in third person, everything looks clear. When you're in first person, it is that foggy or like misty that you're just like, where's the boom?
That's true.
Clear that up.
That is true. That is definitely
the
true.
surface is somewhere around here. Found it. All right.
We've talked about that a few times.
That's me every time I approach the dark side of a moon.
They definitely need to work on that.
All right, we've got 500.
Okay, we got a few.
Harold, you're 20,000. I couldn't believe the Harold. It's so fast. Like, it was 20,000 K away. It was 20,000 K away. And then I just put the brakes on. I still didn't have enough time. Still didn't have enough time. It was just literally like I was still doing 600 by the time I kind of hit.
Same thing happened to me today when I landed the reclaimer for the first time. With the reclaimer, first time you ever go to land it, start slowing down about 10 minutes prior to when you think you're going to hit the ground. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, so what you were saying about the Herald, it's essentially an armchair with a giant rocket on it. It's,
Yep.
You can't even see what
there's nothing else. No, it's shocked me. I got bought it as a present for my birthday, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cute. Look at that. Fuck me.
Tick.
It's a great ship, though.
Suddenly it was moving, and I was like, oh my god, what's going on? I'm gonna die. And then I hit the boundary wall. So
see, a lot of people. It's funny 'cause I was reading the comments on this video, and it's like a lot of people still like the previous version. But
Yeah,
actually,
I've heard a lot of people like the first one.
I'm like,
I think it's a lot more detail on the new one.
I think once you get to the lower level, the new one looks better. But I have to admit, I do quite like the two-tone sort of. You're looking at seeing blacks and white areas on the first one, whereas that gets lost a bit on the second one.
I think they've lit it up a bit better to probably help us a little bit land.
But look at the lighting difference on the left, like on the 3.1 and 3.0.
Much lighter. There'll be a reason for that. I'd be curious to know why they. Because it's not a video about it. It'd be interesting to see why they've lit it so much more brightly.
Because you can see by the ship itself, it's much more lit as well.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's not. Well, it is the lighting. It's because the sun's in a different location. It's not because they've lit it differently. Which, you know, when I first saw the video, that was my one criticism of the video. You should have done it with the same lighting,
same time of day.
Damn it, Diabolus! Damn you!
Well, yeah, it does make it hard to compare. One's at night
and 12 dislikes.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's a great. But I still think that even then, I still think it's lighter. I don't think
it is lighter. Yeah, sorry, it's the new one that's got the more white and black.
Which I like.
And I like that.
There's more snow on it.
Yeah.
It's not more snow. Look, there's no snow on the other one.
I want to see blizzards.
Look like it was.
I literally want to live out The Thing. You know, John Carpenter's The Thing. You've seen that film, yeah? Yeah. I want to live that out on a planet, like going to deliver to an outpost on a planet that is just blizzards, and then you've got death waiting for you. But I survive somehow. Everyone else dies, and I manage to.
So you just want to live on your own with everybody else gone. You want to play single player, is that what you said?
As long as I can gather all their weapons and stuff up, I'll be like this, heading back to my ship. Like, fuck the
but you wouldn't need weapons because everybody's dead. I've got these weapons. No need for them. But it's cool.
I can sell them. It's
to
like
who?
The Matrix when he's throwing all the weapons away. I'll be like, fuck that. I'm collecting them all up. I'll have that. I'll put it in my jacket.
Oh, nice.
You're a true northerner.
Yeah,
being a bit of a thing. They've got something called a Joker. They got something called talking about guns. They got something called a Joker distortion cannon, which I was like,
it fires party poppers and streamers.
Yeah. It goes bang. little flag pops.
Flag comes out, going, your ship's dead.
It's like, I'd like to return this weapon, please.
Insert explosion here or something. Missing texture.
So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that and some of the guns and stuff. It's always nice to see more weapons coming.
Maybe it's an April 1st gun. April 1st, you know.
Nice if they work. If we could actually attach some of these guns to a ship.
We've got to remember that April 1st is coming up, so on that day, just don't believe any.
Oh, what do you think we're going to get this year?
Not fish, I hope.
Or Big Benny's ships.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got a couple of questions. Did you want to do them, or is that it for the ATV?
Well, there was just the last thing on ATV was the Mobiglass. The Mobiglass, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was the
that was
the PMA thing,
which was really nice. That's again. This is what I'm saying. ATV was really good this week. I really liked it. I mean, to see the all that stuff was really cool.
What I liked about the this Mobiglass thing is that they say anything you earn in the PU, you bring. Well, not everything, but you bring it over into Star Marine.
Star Marine.
Certain weapons and shit you can't bring in, but the I like that idea. So you feel like in Star Marine, you feel like you need to earn stuff first to then drag it into the Star Marine to actually play with it, which I like that idea.
It kind of goes against the idea of what Star Marine is, if you're thinking about
Very
it.
true.
It's supposed to be a computer game.
Yeah.
So you should be
have
buying
access to everything.
gear.
And,
you should be buying
in the game I played before, Jumpgate was like that in terms of it had like its own arena commander type thing, and that was actually the point. You could go there to test ships before you go and buy them, because it was the only environment you could test a ship before actually buying it. So to say that you've got to own it first to take it in does seem a little bit backwards.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably did it because it sounds cool that you can earn this and then take it in, but it actually, what he should be doing is letting you go into Star Marine, test it and go, I want one of those in the verse, right, I'm going to go out and earn it, because that's a cool weapon.
When you put it that way, whatever I just said in the past.
Scrap it. Go and delete that YouTube video now.
Actually wrong. We've actually created some salt. It's all wrong.
What am I thinking?
This is such a good feature. No, it's not. Why?
No, it's not actually. We talked it out of ourselves, but yeah. Okay, moving on. Questions. Shall we do some questions, and then we'll go on to the salt, and then we'll end the.
Yes. Okay, so
we'll leave it on a negative.
We'll leave it on a negative as we do. Oh no, well, maybe we should save this question for the end then. Someone's asked, what's the one thing CIG has done really well in game so far? #unsalt. Should we leave that till the end so that you're not,
Yeah, let's leave that at the end. We'll do that one at the end.
So, Kraken, sorry, but we're leaving it just so we end on a high note rather than madness is salt. Okay, so the next question is from Dr. Kesser, and he asks, do you think the Terrapin is overpriced for a single-person ship?
What's the cost?
Fucking expensive.
I think almost every ship in the game is overpriced for pixels, being honest.
Yeah, no, I think originally they were actually well priced, but because they were so cheap before, now that they're putting them more to the component pricing, so they're actually more accurately priced now for the main game, it seems like it's super expensive, which in my wallet it is, but that's because if you were to go in the game eventually, when we actually get them in game, to buy the ships are going to cost a lot more, and they can't sell them for cheaper, I think.
Yeah, they're kind of. Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, I just think they're all too expensive.
They're way too expensive.
But I get that it's funding the game, so.
I like expensive spaceships.
Next question. Unless you got anything else to add, Alaria? To expensive ships? You just get them bought for you.
Yeah, how true that is. No, it is quite expensive. I don't spend a lot on Star Citizen. I sit there and I cry a little bit because I can't have one. But listen, I will just have to work harder and get them in game. I'm happy to do that. And if somebody wants to buy me an X1, then I wouldn't mind.
I forgot about the X1.
Typical.
That's the much nicer variant.
It's like the Beamer bike.
Buy me a drink.
I suppose when you own an Endeavour, you don't really need many of the ships, do you?
That's true, really. It's true.
If it's that big, you're just lost on that for a month. Just get from one end to the other end.
I can't find the exit. Where are the beds?
To be fair, I got lost on the Starfarer. I can't be trusted on any big ship. I'm not going to find my cockpit. It's going to be awful.
Everyone gets lost in the Starfarer. It's like it's such a badly laid out internal ship.
But I got lost on the Caterpillar. It's just a long skinny thing. How do you get lost on the Caterpillar?
I have to be honest, I also got lost on the Caterpillar. I remember Mac when he first had it. He goes, right, I'm in the cockpit. Come and take the other seat. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on the way. He goes, well, where are you then? I'm like, I'm coming. I'm coming. And it's me like back and up and down the fucking corridors, thinking one of these has got to lead to the fucking cockpit somewhere.
It would be great if I could see the people on board the ship and just see
little like dots. This. You know I'm lost.
For fuck's sake.
That would be so good. I'd love that. I'd pay. That would be fantastic, actually. So that would be like, I think. Oh god, you should see that on the capital ships. That's what you need. You need a little radar system, so the guy who's like keeping track of people can then tell where everyone is.
That's a feature. This is what I was talking about yesterday when we were talking. It's a feature from Other Suns. It's literally one of the roles in the bridge is to monitor the sensors on the ship, so you can see where your crew members are, and when you get boarded, you can direct people to the enemy as well.
Well, we saw like a real early thing about that. Was it Sherman that was showing us that they had that caterpillar screen that was just a mock-up where they had the red dots of where?
Yes, I remember now. Yeah, lots of dots all over it. Yeah, it was.
And that's
the problem right there, though, Mac. They need to have lines everywhere, though, because that's what Star Marine has. There's lines everywhere to help people see where
connected to the dot.
But you know the problem with this though. It's a feature that no Drake ship would ever have. So all the Drake fanboys would cry.
Just has a fucking toilet, to be honest. So why the hell?
It would be a chalkboard or something.
He was here last time. I spotted him.
With Drake, though, wouldn't they just have the arrows painted on the floor, cockpit this way?
Spray
Probably
painted.
true.
They have that on the.
I might do that.
They do have that on the. Have you noticed on the Reclaimer? There's like chalked arrows everywhere.
Yeah, I actually followed that,
That's
thinking
cool.
maybe this leads somewhere, and it doesn't. It's literally just. This is the button for the elevator. So I can see that's the button for the elevator. It's right next to the elevator.
The chalk thing's right next to the sign that tells you go right for whatever station, and above it is a chalk arrow, and it's like, okay, so I'll go that way then.
It was Calyx that did it. That's the one. I gave credit to Sherman.
Take it while it's given out.
It was
Okay.
in its downtime, I think, wasn't it? It was like,
Next
fuck it, I'm just going to play around.
question is Chris said. Let me tell you who it's from first. Moon Console, bloody consoles. Says Chris said, Star Citizen is not a marathon; it's a walk around the world twice on RTV. I don't think it means walk around the world twice. How many more years do you think he has in mind?
48. Something about those, around those times. Yeah.
Well, how long does it take to walk around the world?
I mean, there's no way of really saying how long it's going to take. I would like to think it's maybe 2 to 3 years until we get a proper sort of release. But I think I'm being optimistic with 2. We could see another 5 years, but there is no way of knowing because judging what we've already had doesn't determine what's going to come because we've been building. They've been building tools. They've been building systems to make the development quicker and more efficient. So now that they're done,
efficient.
Exactly. It should speed up, but the game's never going to be complete. They're always going to be adding new things to it. But as a live release, I would hope to say about 3 to 4 years at the most. But that's
Glory says it takes about 11 years to walk around the world. So maybe we've got an confirmed release date.
Well, if
he just says it's not a marathon, it's a walk around the world. He's just confirmed it's going to take 11 years.
What are we up to now?
Already 6 in, 5. So we're.
I mean, people read everything into anything that's said on our TV, so it must be the case.
It takes 11 years, 46 days.
So now we know. We got the release date confirmed. 11 years time.
I got the impression he was, he was speaking kind of, metaphorical.
Although I reckon Forrest Gump can go around a lot quicker.
A bit quicker, yeah, probably. No, he could do. For me, there's a few interviews that Chris has done. I don't think Chris, honestly, I'm going to be scandalous here. I don't think he interviews particularly well sometimes. There was an interview with the German. They asked him something similar because he gets these are the, other people ask him the hard questions, and he basically said, and I'm not going to quote him exactly because I can't quote the words exactly, but he basically said that he doesn't really see Star Citizen with labels, early access, alpha, beta, whatever. He just sees the game ultimately. We're playing it now, like he said in the interview. For RTV as well, he said the same thing. Actually, it's a totally different beast. This game is developed in first of its kind. No one's really done anything kind of like, if people forget, even though it's 5 years, done a game of this type before. They're learning on the time. So
I can't compare it to any of the game that has been developed or being developed.
Yeah,
because it's completely different kettle of fish. I mean, people do, but it's natural to, though, isn't it? It's just
I think we're minimum 10 years for this game to be to a place where I think we'll be like, yeah, that's cool. I think we've got another 5 years.
Yeah.
I think what is also important to remember is something. They're not just building the game; I have to keep reminding people this all the time. They've not just built the game. They've built, what is it, 4 or 5 studios.
Yeah,
these people, and they're developing new tools, and they've built up an entire marketing strategy from nothing.
Yeah, that's
Can't
fine. The
really
question-
put a scale on that sort of thing.
No.
The question was like, when do you think it would be finished, though? When do you think it will be finished, though?
Really, no. It's hard to say because was it Skyrim took nearly 11 years to be finished,
So they walked around the world as
and
well.
they kind of had an engine and a crew, and so 11 years for something that already had a studio and a massive team behind it.
Yeah.
But that's it again. Like the whole comparing to other games, you cannot.
It's so difficult because we've never seen a game this early on.
No,
really,
and it's being developed
things.
differently. It's being funded differently. It's being built from the ground up, as you say. There's no way you can compare this to any other game in any other format. It is what it is, and everyone obviously does compare it to other games because we're human. It's what we need to do. We need to compare things to see to get a justification ourselves. But it's just ride it, literally. Like I'm on the Star Citizen horse.
Donkey,
is that what that was?
Donkey, you need the studio to build the game. Otherwise, people will be working in sheds or working on streets.
Speech started off really well.
To build it.
Yeah, you don't want him to have 180 million and then work out of a box office with one single room box office. Sorry, you didn't pay for us for this.
Chris's house.
We've already seen in the past what happens when they outsource to other studios.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay, next question is which is the best Aurora? The ES for $20, 4 times size 1 weapons, or the LN for 35, 2 times size 1 and 2 times size 2 weapons? LN. There you go. That was easy.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Go and buy yourself an LN. It's a nice little Aurora. Thanks, Daku. I think everyone, yeah. Okay, we're all in agreement on that one. Daku asks, Dragonfly versus Nox versus X1. 3, 2, 1, fight. Dragonfly, there we go. That's answered that one.
Dragonfly, yeah.
Yeah, Dragonfly.
Oh, God, I love it when everybody agrees. It's so... Oh no, you're an X1 person.
I like
was that your microphone
in real life, so I've always liked the more rugged kind of looking vehicles.
Yeah. I like cruiser motorbikes, so that's what the Dragonfly makes me think of.
Oh, that was nice. Thanks for that conversation.
I'm glad we all got there. Cookie Monster wants to know cheese or chocolate.
Cheese. Absolutely.
Why choose when you can have both?
Chocolate and cheese.
There's a reason you ride that bike, Madness.
Yes.
I like cheese. I'm with Miz though. Actually, both.
Cheese
I'll have chocolate, and then I'll be like, "Ooh, we'll have a slice of sourdough with a bit of Philadelphia cheese. Lovely."
Here's the northerner back from eating a block of cheese.
Can I do my salt station, Miz, before we run out of time?
Okay, go on.
I'm afraid we've just got to call it the night now.
Yeah, we are running out of time anyway, so.
And yeah, I'm knowing this has been delayed.
Somebody's just asked in the chat. Somebody's just saying about it, not Skyrim, not 10 years dev time. I wasn't just talking about the development time. I was talking about the entire concept from beginning to release. Skyrim's one of my favorite games, and I'm not being exact, but I know it was 4 or 5 years between Oblivion and Skyrim. They were planning Skyrim before Oblivion came out. So,
and it's still buggy as hell.
But dragons and
you go after Sherman. That's good.
Someone said in chat.
I just wanted to answer that. I'm just of when they started planning it, not necessarily the development, but
okay. RTV guys, can we talk about it?
Just sum it up in 30 words. Go for it.
in 30 words.
That's 2.
Thank you for the limit.
I haven't got 30 words. I have been practicing this for easily a good hour and a half.
28 words.
Well, I'll tell you what, we could all log off and you could carry on the podcast. Come on, then.
No. Okay, so the first thing for me is that there's a little thing where Chris talks about. He basically says they want to speed up the process. They want to finish this game. They want to do what's called. I think his buzzword is quality of life. Was the RTV kind of thing where he talks about quality of life, which I think is reference to our quality of life, because at the moment we've all been struggling being able to have any life because the game crashes all the time. So I think he's basically indicating trying to improve our quality of life, which is a good thing.
Or he could mean that he hasn't released it yet, so that we're still having a life in real life. Yeah. Just improving your quality of life.
Quality of life. I can't stand. I'm just going to be so. I fucking hate managerial buzzwords. That was a managerial buzzword that gets my back up. For me though, RTV. What does he say here? Let me just get my right. The first thing was I did like the yellow yell. By the way, that was amazing. By the way, whoever did that's fantastic. But this is my thing. Okay, my red flags came up. Like I said, is when a person's behavior is counter to years of behavior. So Chris Roberts is a man that we all know is a perfectionist. He's very driven. He knows what he wants. He talked about making this game for himself ultimately. We're kind of second effectively. This is his game. This is his project. And then all of a sudden we get an RTV where he's suddenly going, oh, by the way, I just want to kind of like, we're going to be we're potentially going to have to look at some of our big project, big kind of features. We maybe have to push them to the side, and we want to kind of ask you guys what you think. I'm sorry, alarm bells ring for me, and I smell fucking bullshit, man. Absolutely over that. Fuck me. I was like, this is not. And then he said, and then also at the beginning he said, Aaron was supposed to be doing this interview as well, which kind of was like, huh. So I just honestly RTV, just massive red flags everywhere, all over it. I mean, what's going on? Why are we suddenly? Why do you care about what we fucking give a shit? Like, make the fucking game. Like he talks about big moments. Like he talks about like, just give us what you fucking said in the first place. Like, we all know what we want. You've already shown us a roadmap. You've already done the game before. Sorry, I'm going on one, but I just honestly, I fucking hated it, and I didn't like it, and it was really smoke and mirror shit going all over the place. I was like, wasn't it?
GW Glory says in chat, it's a softer blow if the community chooses what to delay. But are we really choosing what to delay? Because I don't want to sound like I'm paranoid,
like
but I have worked in community management, and one thing that you learn very quickly is you always make the community think that they're in charge. And that's kind of what it feels like now. It feels like they're appeasing the Star Citizen community right now. I am so, like, honestly, all right, okay. I was chatting to my missus, and we're chatting to people, footsie corporations that are worth multi-billion-dollar companies neglecting responsibility is one of their number one motherfucking things they do. And this stank of it, honestly, not taking responsibility for what you're supposed to do. Suddenly we're making decisions. I'm sorry. Wouldn't be. Oh God, honestly, like I could go on.
This isn't a footsie.
What caused the change?
We have been
it's a massive $1 million company. What is the cause of the change?
Since the beginning, the community has been driving the development since the beginning. We've all been voting on things. This isn't the first vote we've ever had. This is just one of many that we've had. Now, the fact is, we complain about the state of the game at the moment, and we complain about 3.0. We complain about every game that has been, every patch that's been released. What he's doing is focusing on improving those patches so they are playable, and because of this, they can't focus on all the features. So he's asking, what are we most looking forward to, or what do we think is most important, and they're going to work on that and put that in as priority. I don't think. See. I mean, you could be right in the fact that before. You could be right that it's smoke and mirrors. It is a big business, but ultimately, it's always been the case that they're building the game that Chris Roberts wants.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, here's an example. I would say, like, what if you, like, I use this example. What if Bill Belichick, he's the Patriots kind of quarterback, quarterback. He's the Patriots head guy. He's obviously won whatever loads of times. He's a very, very well-known American football guy. What if he came into a fucking team meeting at the beginning of whatever and said, "Hey guys, what do you guys think we should do this year?"
That's a slightly random.
But seriously though, but that's called kind of like in my head. It's like I just doesn't scream. Like I said, it's not the behavior of Chris Rock. It doesn't feel like that's it just. I don't get it. It's not the pattern. And
don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I think this is a bad thing. All I'm saying is, to me, it feels like they're just trying to appease the community. So when people turn around and say, "Oh, but you know, they never ask for our opinion and shit like that," then people can now turn around and say, "Well, actually, they did give us the opportunity to vote." That's all it feels like to me. And they won't necessarily act on. They won't necessarily act on what we've selected. You know, and
I mean, the thing is,
they've already got it planned.
We've got a roadmap, and we see what's being developed and what gets pushed back. I mean, are they honestly saying that what we choose will affect that roadmap, and they'll push back certain things to implement other things?
And they're going to do it every single patch. They're going to do this every patch.
What, ask us?
Yeah, they said this is the first of the...
Well, then what's the point having all that on the roadmap? It's like saying none of that is ever going to be there in time.
No, the roadmap was never set in stone. The roadmap...
No, well, we know that, but the aim is to get that stuff done.
Back when we got 3.0 and they asked us what we wanted for 3.1 and we selected bind culling.
Neglecting...
If it's not ready in time, then it's not ready in time. They're still continuing to work on it. But that's what I'm saying. It's like... They've got teams working on different bits of whatever.
Ale, what's your thoughts?
I generally do not think the vote means anything. Sorry, I seem so salty tonight. I'm not normally this salty. I haven't had any rum.
No, but it's like it's not really. Sorry, citizen shenanigans. It's not really. It's not a surprise. I'm just fucking disappointed. Like this year, and I don't want to I'm happy. I'm very happy when Chris Roberts said he talked about they recognize some stuff, but there's delusional things in RTV. He talked about interdiction as being improved in 3.1. What the fuck? Man is clearly not played the game. And then I'm like, there's other little snippets of delusional content. Like we talked about stuff before, and I'm like, when they talk about, they talked about the hover mechanics before on these things. They talked about how the hover mechanics were good. I'm like, delusional again. And then all of a sudden there's like a couple months later, there's this backtracking of, oh yeah, we've been screaming at the community, the combat community, been screaming at COG for ages. Flight mechanics are fucked, dude. They are fucked. No question about it. And like now, and they were denying it. There was nothing. It was like no denial, complete denial, we've improved, blah, blah, blah. And then now suddenly there's a fucking bit of shit in the RTV where he talks about it and he says it. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I honestly, it fucking stank. It stank and I'm out. I'm done. It's neglecting responsibility in my opinion. I'm gonna get a drink. I'll come back. Let you guys talk.
Thank God for that.
Seems angry. Is he upset about something?
Do you think?
He's living to the mad part of his name.
He's got a pregnant wife. He's letting it all out now.
Yeah, that's what it is, really.
Meant to be ragey?
Pretty much.
She's the one giving birth.
Going to be ragey when she gives birth.
But to be fair, if I was married to Madness, I'd probably feel the same way.
Hey, I can hear every word you guys say, right?
Awkward.
Everyone, shut up. Everyone. Shush. Thoughts?
See, I haven't seen the RTV and I haven't played in a while because reasons from earlier. But to go to the voting thing, that a little bit cheeky. It's a nice idea, but it would have been nicer if it had come out a bit earlier. 3.0. What do you want in 3.1? It seems a bit like a late edition. They've already come out with the big 3.0. So
I genuinely think that they've always done a really shit job of any sort of community management. I genuinely think that people like Nikki, people like Matt Sherman do a much better job than our community team. Where are the community team? I never see them popping into people's streams. I never see them posting anything on Reddit. It's like, where are you guys? You're supposed to be community managers.
I've seen a few pop in here.
Cameron Wilkie popped into one of the very first stream I did to help judge a competition that we did. that was just a random, would anybody like to come? And he came, and he was great. You know, he was really cool to talk to. Tidbits on the stream, so that was nice. But kind of thing just seems a little bit empty at the moment. It's like an afterthought. It's been blue tacked on. It's like pin the tail on the donkey. Played, you know. It's just a bit stupid. But I appreciate what they're trying to do. A little bit late, a little bit mistimed, but it's a good idea.
Should have just been implemented from the very get-go, really.
It's a bit late in the day, you know. Like I said, it's like, you know.
And I'm not saying that they don't listen to the community. It's clear that they've made a lot of changes to this game through listening to the community. It's just, I don't know. It does smell of bull to me.
Okay, here's the next thing. He compared it to Sea of Thieves, and he said that it had more gameplay when working, more gameplay than Sea of Thieves. Sorry, it was not a good interview, Chris. I'm sorry. I don't know. It probably just clearly was not a good interview, and I would just never.
Yeah.
Has he stopped now? That's good.
He stopped. I think we're done.
He just needed to breathe. That was all.
Oh no, he's still going. He's reading through his notes. This is dangerous. Didn't we have a time limit for the podcast?
Well, that's it. I've pretty much. I think I've smashed it. I think I've smashed every comment in terms of things.
I mean,
I'd love to hear what you guys think. I mean,
no, I do.
I just, you know,
not quite the same anger as you, but I do think you have valid points on some of the things. There's a lot of stuff he said, and I was just listening and thinking, it's not so much. Well, he probably doesn't play the game so much, in all honesty, and he's probably relying on feedback from the teams and development team. They're probably going, yeah, it's working really well so far. We've got good improvements compared to 3.0, and probably maybe on their builds, on their personal builds with less people on the server, maybe they are improvements. We are getting a lot of things that are happening once it hits PU that they're not getting in their own builds, and they have said that a few times. So there could well be stuff that, I mean, when he turns around and says, like, I did think when he turned around and said that it's got more content and things available already than Sea of Thieves, I was like, no. That's a really strange statement to say when you're in alpha and that game's fully. And he did say Sea of Thieves is more polished, but it's, yeah.
Sea of Thieves is quite limited, but no, I don't think it has more content than Sea of Thieves.
No. So yeah, I agree. There's some things that he said, and it does. I mean, the thing is, like you say, he doesn't interview very well sometimes, and I also feel like it almost looks like when he's getting interviewed, he takes it as if you're personally insulting his baby every time, and so his responses are almost defensive. And I think that's where some of it comes from. It's like it's going to be good. Yeah, exactly. I think he takes what the community is saying is almost like as an insult to what he's doing, and it's like, oh, you know, he sees the end vision, and he's almost like angry at people for not seeing the end vision. It's like, come on, we know we're not there yet, sort of thing.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. The behavior characteristics don't match that RTV. He is the meme. No shit. We know it's broken. Let us get on with it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, we're now getting an interview where they're saying, "Oh, guys, what do you think?" And that's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's a mask for the fact that 3.2 is going to be devoid of a lot of shit that they promised us. That's the reality of it. And we probably, I don't even know if we're going to get bind culling.
Anything. They've not
not promised. Apologies, not promised, but it's going to be devoid of a lot of stuff again, and we're going to have a very long amount of time, again, with no game mechanics, core gameplay mechanics. That's what I'm talking. Hopefully mining will make it. If mining makes it, fucking awesome. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's awesome. We got a game mechanic in. But if that doesn't make it, and we don't get salvage, and we don't get bind culling, and we just get a lot of new ships in game, what are you going to say then, Mac? How are you going to feel?
Well, talking of mining, he did say that it's pretty much not guaranteed, obviously, but going to make it in. Personally, I like the fact that they ask our opinion, and I don't think they're asking for the sake of mirrors and whatnot. I think they're actually asking because they know that our opinion counts. I don't think it was a long planned idea doing this survey. I think it was more of a right. We probably can't get everything into 3.2, so let's find out what is important But I think the way they've approached, Chris Roberts isn't the best at all for talking. I do get excited when he talks, but that statement of, well, if Aaron was here, he would have done this. I want that. He just things he just shouldn't say because it sounds very much like he's not bothered. But it is. I think quality of life is the most important thing at the moment. Being able to play the patches that we have are most important because it's killing the game. He knows himself, and he admits to it, that 3.0 has actually done a disservice to the game, and I agree with that. It didn't do it any good. We've seen. Was that you drinking then that made that noise?
Yeah. It's just added sound effects.
That should be a soundbite. Wow. But he knows that 3.0 was a disservice. We've seen the lowest numbers ever in the game project. So he said as well, something to point out above the whole salt, is that he knows that he needs to rebuild the faith. A lot of people have lost faith, and he said blatantly, we need to prove ourselves again. So that's what they're doing now, and I don't think it's a smoke and mirrors. Yeah, I think what they're doing is they're making the patches playable so that we can actually play them. The people who are seeing them, who don't know about the game, can actually think, it looks like a good game, and then bring in stuff, because it's pointless, as a lot of people have complained about it, saying they're bringing out all these features and all this stuff, but the game ain't playable. What the hell? So when they start saying, right, well, we'll make the game playable and we'll push the features back, people start complaining anyway. You can't please everyone. You just got to do what you think is right and asking our opinion.
I think you're right. The biggest
good way of doing it.
Some of the biggest complaints I've seen on Facebook and everywhere else is the frames and how it's unplayable. Not the lack of, although we moan about lack of content, but that's because we've been playing a long time. But your average person that doesn't stream it and doesn't play it 24/7, their complaint is, I can't even get on it to play it. And so I suppose that's what he's highlighting, is that we're making it more playable rather than the features so much. But yeah.
But everyone knows that that's optimizations generally a last thing.
Well, I know, but obviously that's it. But that's what we're saying. It's kind of. I agree. It's we've gone from I'm doing it my way to, well, maybe we need to please people instead of doing it my way. And I don't know if that's right. I think you're better off just carrying on making it and don't worry about the people that are moaning about it. Really.
Yeah, just ignore us. I mean, I moan the shit about the game, but the truth is, I trust them to do their shit. It's just, I just tell them what I like and what I'm important. You tell them what you think's important. You do that, and then they just go away and just carry on. Honestly, I firmly believe they should just fucking just carry on. They are the experts. I am not an expert. I do not make computer games. So don't ask me. Just fucking make the game.
We didn't.
That you think the game's good. No, but they have. He asked me to vote. I voted.
Oh, sorry. I see. Yeah.
So they've asked me to vote. They've asked my opinion on it, and it's cool. But I'm like, you guys are the expert. If you go ahead and do it, I trust you.
We don't know what their pipeline is and how. If we all said, let's get this bit done first, and it affects something else further down the line, it's all your fault. You all wanted this mechanic
neglecting responsibility. That's my point, and I don't like it. Stinks. Honestly, I've seen it too much. I've been around the block a bit, guys.
But I'm sure you all have. But is it going to be the same thing that if they don't get the bit that we all voted for out and won, and then that doesn't make it through, everyone's going to be like, well, you told us to vote for it, and you still didn't give us it. So it's messy.
They've already said that throwing more developers at a thing doesn't necessarily make it come any quicker. So by saying, oh, we can prioritize this, what?
So I'm saying exactly. I mean. Honestly. Anyway.
Okay, let's move on.
What a stinker.
Right,
yeah, move on. Let's get positive.
Well, let's. Oh God, people keep asking questions. How dare they?
Rude. Keep asking.
Well, we've kind of asked this before, but I think it was. Hang on, let me go this way and find out who is asking it. The Turtle has asked, "What do you think of the Terrapin being worth $5 less than the Constellation?" I think that's kind of just going on the same thing as do we think it's expensive, which is yes, we do think it's freaking expensive for a single ship.
Yeah, I've always felt it's very
massively expensive for what it is.
Yeah.
Moon Console says to the guest, was Lear 3 Sandworm a joke?
No,
they are actually implementing sandworms, I believe.
Layer 3 has a sandworm.
There's a specific planning, isn't there, that actually in the lore that actually has the sandworm. So yeah, it will be that.
Don't go there.
Don't do it. Question number 9: the Napper the Slapper. Interesting name.
Nice.
Can they make it free to play since everything is funded by now?
Yes, please. Now, I wouldn't complain if they actually made Arena Commander and Star Marine
It is free to play once you buy the account.
Yeah.
It is free to play.
I'd be happy for them to put it on consoles, the Star Marine and the Arena Commander on console.
But buying the account isn't anything to do with funding the game. It's to buy the game. That's what you're buying. Like the other stuff is supposed to be funding the game to get the ships, but the actual buying your account is buying the game. So, once you bought the game, it is free to play. And that's the end.
But then a part of me is like, the game is Star Marine and all that are so bored at the moment. No offense to anyone, but they're just so not good and not good enough. I almost kind of feel like maybe it's probably a good idea not to let anyone play it and kind of skew their opinion of it so early.
I'm not saying right now, but once the game is actually out, I'd make Arena Commander and Star Marine free to play because I think it'd be a great marketing tool.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm with you. I don't see the problem with that. Why not? What harm is it going to do?
It's happening. Thanks, Madness.
Yeah, I'm with you on it. It would be good for them, get more people, but I'm cool with it. And like I said, I'll put it on console as well.
Okay, second to last question. I'll stop taking any more for now. Xian Fanboy says, why is the Cartawal the best ship?
12.
The animation.
Yes. Yes.
It looks very cool when it does its little alien thing. It's pretty cool.
That's another ship I forgot about. The X1.
That's the only thing that's good about it.
Way too many ships.
Dreadful. Everything else is dreadful. It's literally a paperweight.
I think it smells quite nice.
Oh, isn't the one that's got the floating?
It's a bit musty.
The floating steps. The
Scout, isn't it?
Yeah, the flight and the navigator steps.
Yeah, it lost the second ship. The second ship, the second seat. That's what makes it good.
Yeah.
Great way to finish any sentence, isn't it?
Zing.
Hang on, I'll just get my plot response.
Love that.
Okay, so we're going to go back to the first question that was from the Kraken Jr., and he wants to know what's the one thing. So this is going to be a nice little positive finisher. What's the one thing CIG has done? Yeah, hopefully really well in game so far. #unsalt.
The Cyclone by not making it hover.
Yeah, Cyclone, 100%. The new wheels, by making the fat wheels, as we mentioned on the show before, way back when, the Cyclone wasn't attractive. I mentioned that they should change the wheels thicker, and they have. And it
was all thanks to Madness.
Awesome. So you can all thank me anytime. Actually, you can thank my friends who are all car designers, because that's their advice. They always said that everything starts from the wheels to me, and that the wheels should be big and chunky, and it always looks cool. So actually, it's not me, it's them. They're the ones that
fat with a PH.
Fat with a PH, exactly.
Thick.
So, yeah,
thick.
That's
with a double
easily
C.
the Cyclone. Cyclone is awesome.
Ilaria, what was your one thing that they've done?
Not being able to play so much, I haven't seen a lot lately, but I've always been quite impressed by the attention to detail in their backgrounds and the landscapes. When you just screenshots that people have managed to pull together, that stuff is beautiful. They have put in so much effort, so time and detail into these.
Did you know?
Amazing backdrops.
Did you know that?
Did I know what?
Ketchup in Star Citizen is 2% natural. I learned that today from a screenshot.
2% natural.
2% natural.
Seeing it's these little details we need in the game.
Zing!
Yeah, it's just beautiful. Some of the work that they do on those backgrounds never ceases to amaze me, and I can't wait to see what they do with things like the black holes and the nebulae and things like that. That's going to be amazing. And
making space look pretty, which is something they said they. Yeah.
It's just a constant.
It's all about the sparkle.
Everywhere.
Come on.
It's all about the pink fluffy unicorns.
Dancing on rainbows.
Oh God! Don't start that again. I've had this.
Please.
Mac, I get this from D&D constantly. Like Joe's like, "Oh, I got my unicorn," and it's like, "Oh, someone showed her the video," and it's like,
hamster unicorns. Yeah, is that what you're talking about?
Hamster unicorns. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mac, what do you think?
Critical.
I would say the reclaimer meth table. That is just
That is
a
pretty
mess
special.
hall table. I just want. So
What about
many
the
more-
toilets in there?
Do you know the
what?
vulnerability?
The
though, dude?
toilets?
Have you seen?
Oh, the toilets. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're shocking. But have you seen the vulnerability of the Reclaimer? So
In what way?
when they have atmosphere, you know, the pressure, the ability to have atmosphere within the ship, and then obviously outside of the ship's no pressure. If you go down the corridor, literally there's no blocking doors because they've got the huge pipes running along all the way along the top of the Reclaimer. So literally, if I was a pirate and I knew you guys were having a nice lunch, I would
Yeah.
blow the side doors, vent the entire
That's
entire
true. There's no
section,
bulkheads,
would
is there?
wipe. There's no bulkheads. It would wipe everybody out. And if you weren't wearing your mask or whatever, because you'd be having dinner, which is you wouldn't be stupid to be wearing a mask having dinner, you can wipe out most of the crew. And also, you can then also. So what I was thinking strategically as well, there's a really good long corridor as well. That whole area you could cover it. It's instant access. Those two side doors to the engineer room. And to the salvage as well at the back. You could, with a small team, you could hold off that area pretty well, kill most of the crew, and get out without any
You
real problems.
really are a masochist. Whenever you see a double decker heading towards a bridge, do you secretly hope that it takes
The
out
bridge is
top
too low.
deck?
planning like
But no, you know, to be honest, there's a few points, and you make a really good point there, because one thing that I really like about the Reclaimer is that hallway. When you get off the main elevator and you look down, you've got that long, dirty hallway, which if you see something sort of scuttle off to the edge and you think no one's on board, or if you're exploring a derelict, it's going to be scary. But they did say that while designing these ships, they can't have them impenetrable. So they have to have some method. But that whole idea of not having a bulkhead after the airlocks, that is kind of a bit daft. Like, you don't even know someone's on board, and then all of a sudden everyone's suffocating.
Yep, that's what I mean. It's a massive vulnerability on that.
Just
shit.
want me mashed potatoes.
If they implement it, obviously they have to implement that technology, but it's been shown to us quite a few times. So it will be cool. It'll be very, very cool.
I don't know. I feel like the Reclaimer is the sort of it's an industrial ship, so I kind of feel like everybody should be wearing armor anyway.
Even when you're eating.
Yep, eating food.
Yeah.
Take your helmet.
Well,
you
not
take your helmet
necessarily, I
off.
suppose, but
Your arm can't quite move
just-
that.
You open up the visor up.
you take your helmet off, chuck it next to you, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I've seen the Nostromo. They don't wear armor when they have breakfast.
No.
They're in pants.
True.
They
True.
want to encourage people, don't they, on these bigger ships, not to wear spacesuits
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, the pilot anyway won't be able to wear like a bulky thing. But I like the idea of walking. Like, the first thing I did when I got on board the Reclaimer in the actual PU when I managed to spawn one was take off my armor so I could walk around as if I'm the captain of the ship. And then the geometry started fucking up and I suffocated. But it felt good for a few moments.
That's part of the reason I want them to link up like Olisar a bit better, so that you've actually got more time being able to stand without having your spacesuit. Or even if you implement hangars, you can be able to have airlocked hangars that you can just go in and not actually wear a spacesuit to get in your ship and take off. That would be kind of cool.
Do you know what else I noticed? Talking about the Reclaimer, because it was interesting. When
We
I was
weren't talking about the claim, we were talking
combat.
about what they've done really well.
Was it what they did? What they?
Go on, no, go on.
I've talked a lot. I know I've talked a lot. I was going to say I don't know about anybody else, but did anyone else have the sensation when you were on the ship, you wanted to have when you had your gun out, or if you brought your gun out, I brought my gun out, you want to lean around the corner, and you can't
Because of
everything's
the angles.
still. There's no.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an E or a. Is there any? Does anyone know if there's?
No,
there's
I'm
no
just confused.
mechanics, yeah.
I don't
There's no
think
mechanics yet to lean around a corner.
they have been sort of working on it.
You
haven't
can
they?
do
That,
over the box, can't you? Isn't there? I thought there was something in Star Marine you could do a bit.
They have the leaning, and
Yeah.
I think they have the over.
You have the
but
leaning.
but it's not quite tuned.
There
into
you go.
It's just annoying at the moment because you go near a wall, you put your gun in your face.
I think it
and you
automatically
can't
does
see
it,
anything.
doesn't it? Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
But
So
I
that
think
would-
if they can get it to the level of usability as like Battlefield game does, that works fine. You know, everything. But the problem is, like you say, the Reclaimer has like struts sticking out. So do you lean over that strut and then be faced with another strut which you can't get close to determine if it's that strut you're leaning out of or not? So I tried doing that down that cool corridor, and I was like, can't see shit. Scribble out. Now I'm not leaning. Now I'm just being shot in the arm. It is a bit of a mess at the moment, but.
I got a question because, like, so I've had this. People have said this to me a few times. I've seen it on other podcasts where people have asked the question, you know, should they be thinking or designing the ships for FPS and stuff?
Well, they do.
On board and stuff. And I'm like, I'm sure they think about it a little bit, but the reality is the spaceships should be built to be spaceships first, and then combat second.
They do go through the whole, because what's the guy in the UK that designs a lot of the ships, the big ships? He makes sure that they have a someone's mic's making some noise there.
Sorry, that's a train.
Fucking train. Tell them get outside.
Tell them who we are.
Wave them down. But yeah, they do make sure that as a level in itself, FPS level, it's not too defendable, it's not too attackable. They try and make it into a more interesting space. Obviously, spaceship is the point of it, but they do make sure that the interior is going to be fun to play around. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Who was the guy? Who's the UK developer that talks about that? He used to be an FPS level designer, and so he
wasn't that Sean Noonan?
Nathan Dearsley.
Sean Noonan. Sean Noonan.
No. It's Nathan Dearsley. Thanks.
Nathan
That one.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I think that's it then. Everybody happy? Right. That was a less salty finish. Thank you very much. So that is the end of the podcast. As always, if someone wants to find me someone to raid, we'll sort that out in a second. Otherwise, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ilaria, for joining us and putting up with madness and everybody else.
I do
live, by the way.
No, normally I wouldn't be this salty, but it just came on one of those weeks, unfortunately.
It's been one of those days.
Yeah.
It's all happening. It's all right.
So yes, if you for everybody that wasn't here at the start of the podcast, this video we will put in the video up on YouTube tomorrow on the Asylum channel. So please make sure you go and give the Asylum YouTube channel a follow. And if you haven't got your ticket to go to Britizencon and you can come and see all of us except for Madness, please make sure you go and buy your tickets. Go and you'll be able to go and ask Ilaria all about role playing and her org and everything else, and she'll have so many answers for you.
And she'll give away her endeavour as well, apparently.
Give away her endeavour if you ask her nicely. And no, I'm just...
Your salty mint off my endeavour.
Take your salty palms away from my endeavour. You're rusting the paintwork. So yeah, please, ! Brit or Britizencon and all that in chat to get the links. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Check us out Friday, Dungeons and Dragons, Miserable's G's channel.
Yes, Friday we are continuing with Dungeons and Dragons. We're on the second week of trying out Tabletop Simulator because I think it'll work out well. It's good. It looks nice. Looks pretty. Little 3D tabletop for everybody to work out where they are. So we're doing a little bit of tutorial thing on that. But if you haven't seen us, you can find the videos on our YouTube channel if you want to watch those. Otherwise, yes, come and join us on Friday for that. Mac, do you want to tell everybody what you're up to in the week? Where they can find you?
I am on YouTube, Super Mac Brothers, and on Twitch, Super Mac Brothers Brian. I'll be streaming tomorrow about 3 o'clock PM GMT time. Probably doing some Star Citizen as normal. Trying to play. Hopefully, we'll have another patch by then. Maybe it'll be a bit more playable. Although I think, as Moise said, it's actually all right with Jay. Is it?
Yeah, it's fairly stable for me.
Good. We might have a decent stream then. But yeah, other than that, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Grindr, so everyone look me up.
Well done. Moist?
Oh, you're on Grindr. I only got that. Oh, exciting.
I forgot to say also, ! Vulcan in chat. We are currently, the Asylum is currently giving away a Vulcan. I actually completely forgot the whole podcast to mention that, but ! Vulcan in chat.
Too.
Free shit, and you've not been entered all this time. So go and make sure you enter into that giveaway. Moist Noodle.
Some other giveaways next month as well, so I think we're planning on getting some Cyclones to give away.
We're giving away a reclaimer.
No. Something that people can actually enjoy properly. Until the mechanics are in the reclaimer. We'll wait for the reclaimer until maybe the mechanics actually work.
Good. That's nice.
Moist, what are you streaming next week?
Yes, I'm actually off work as of today. So end of the financial year, I got the week off work to try and chill. So I'm actually going to be streaming most days, I think. Probably some Star Citizen, also some more VR stuff, probably with Maya. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Go to my channel, twitch.tv/moist_noodle. I give away lots of shit. I'm also on Twitter. I don't know why I said it like that. Twitter. Zing. I am the Moist Noodle. So yeah, check me out.
And Madness.
Good times.
Yeah, I will be streaming some Star Citizen. I'm pretty busy this week with work, so just follow me on Twitter as well under a little bit of madness. I'm a little bit of madness pretty much everywhere. Yeah, everywhere really. Anywhere that can fit the length of the name, that's always the problem.
Fitting the length with the
fitting the length. It's the length. I'm there.
Fitting the length has always been a problem. So yeah, check it out anywhere, and I'll be doing obviously my cycle streams as well as we go through the week. So if you've never been to London, interested in London, come and check it out. I have a camera on my bike. You can see me trying dodging through traffic, chatting away, and you'll see me as well, obviously on Stout and Sturdy on Friday on Mizzy's channel, doing some role play, playing all sorts of stuff as we prepare ourselves for the main campaign, which is really exciting actually. I'm looking forward to starting the main campaign. So yeah, if you like Dungeons and Dragons, even if you don't like Dungeons and Dragons, you just want to see me and Miz.
Everyone's just going to take the piss out of us. That's fine.
Please come along; it's great. I was going to say, if you are going to Britizencon and you do like what we do, if you really like what we do, we really do appreciate not just follows but financial support as well. So please, if you feel like you like what we do and you've got a bit of coppers, sub to us. Patreon would be fantastic. Buying gear, buying some t-shirts and all sorts of other things would be also really cool.
You sell out.
I am selling out. I have to.
He doesn't care.
Out, you know,
He's got a kid on the way.
Money.
He's got a kid on the way. He's got the little tin jar shaking away. Please. Have you seen his bike? It's only got one gear.
Sir, I want some more. But no, everything you guys give us and donate to us goes towards giveaways. It goes towards getting gear for people, get Mac, maybe some lights, proper lights eventually, and maybe some lights, and some microphones. It's just basically just so that we can get everyone's audios and mics and get everyone to the same kind of level and stuff. Everyone's different. Everyone's situation is different. So that's what it's all about. Supporting us, we support you. So cool. All right, that's my sell out.
And lastly, Ilaria, if there's anything you wish to plug, your org, anything else, feel free to do so now.
Yeah, definitely come and see us at Britizencon. We will have the table there. You just come over, say hi. We will be running a little happy birthday competition as well.
It's my birthday.
Come over.
Thanks.
It is. The day after Britizencon will be the org's birthday, so we're having a celebration. Come over, take a picture with us, tweet us a happy birthday, and you might be in with a chance of winning a little prize. So come and see us. You can visit the org website on www.republicoflorel.org and check us out there. There'll be more content added as time goes on because I've only got 2 hands, so it takes a little while to get everything up and running. You can check me out on Twitter at Illyria Payne and the Republic of Laurel at Republic of Laurel. Blah, blah, blah.
That one.
But it is spelt slightly differently. L'Oreal. Spelt slightly differently because we ran out of space. There is only one L at the end of Laurel on the Twitter name.
Oh dear.
Oops. So come find us. We are also on Facebook, so you can come like us on Facebook, follow what's going on. We'll link a few things to YouTube, which we're trying to slowly fill up. And you can listen to my update video or more on as usual, so it's all good.
Nice. You've done this plugin before, haven't you?
Yeah. Bro.
On that note, I also forgot to say that I won't actually be on next Monday's podcast because it's my birthday.
What?
Yeah, I forgot about mentioning.
Oh, we're going
that.
out on the Raz. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right, so that's the live IRL stream from Mrs. House.
Wetherspoons.
For the next podcast party.
I'm pretty sure Mac has done a Wetherspoons live stream before.
He has.
I did. I was forced
a couple of times.
I could tell by the condiments.
Yeah. And the faint whiff of the elderly.
Faint whiff of elderly as they walk past.
Whiff of elderly.
The elderly, I think.
Cool. Well,
okay, so did you give us anyone to raid?
ATC Guardian has just gone live and he's doing a starter pack giveaway.
Have you heard of someone called Mardanas? It's like madness but stretched. Hello.
Oh yeah, Mardanas.
How weird is
Who's
that?
he?
It didn't matter. I don't know.
Oh, I see him, but yeah,
It's
he's
got
not
no
got a
webcam or
though.
anything. Yeah.
No, we like to give it to webcams. It's for me. It's like either the few, flip your cards. He likes to swear a lot. They've got Tiki Trees. Who's
Not
that?
like us,
Who's
we're
Tiki Trees?
PG-13.
Yeah, no, he's flip your cards is cool. We could do flip, I suppose. We haven't done him before from the podcast.
I follow him, and I can't remember.
Who is she? Is she just she new, brand new?
Who?
Tiki Trees, her name is.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. She's brand new. Can you see her?
She was just literally born this last.
I don't think her mic's. Oh no, her mic is working. It's just my headphones aren't working on her mic.
Let's do it.
She's new. She's new.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
She's got currently
Okay,
20
yeah.
people watching her.
Let's do it.
Tiki Trees.
I've never
Wow.
hosted her before. Tiki Trees. TIKIT.
I think that's
R
right.
E E
There we go.
S.
We're on our way over. So,
Do you want to see? Do you want to see what I got for my Oculus Rift? By the way,
go
ready
for it.
from the
Quick.
next stream.
Yes, googly eyes. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Cheers for everybody's support. Thank you for hanging out. Like I said, if you haven't seen the whole show, if you want to watch it again for some odd reason, if you want to clip Madness's Salt part, it will be on YouTube. Follow us all. Make sure you follow all the cast. They're all wonderful. Thank you. And see you whenever we see you. Next Monday, if not before. Goodbye.
Good stuff.
It's going. It's going. It's going.